Hello, Sumo fans.
We are actually here, as promised.
Congratulations to not Takerufuji, Takerufuji.
Affectionately known in some circles as Taker, like The Undertaker. And look at this man. He is an image, isn't he? Of strength and some otherworldliness.
We keep talking about how we wanted that person to just come out of nowhere and destroy. And with Ochiai / Haku Oho, it was sort of there. Then you had the injuries with Gonoyama and Ono Sato. It's building.
Yes, it's building in the sumo, fan unconsciousness. And I didn't have this guy on my radar. Many did.
A lot of people did.
I had no clue. This was like the one time we didn't joke about him. I guess you're 17 winning the U show, and it's like, and
off
then
he
it
goes.
happens.
An explosion. So well done. And, well, we'll be getting to him at a much later point.
Yes, look at the timestamps if you don't want to listen to the entire show, but we go in order, people.
Yup. Yeah, it has been a long time since we haven't talked about the U show winner within the first hour.
Yeah.
But it's going to be near the end because that's 17 East for you.
My goodness. I can't believe it.
Here we are at the top. Yeah. It feels like last tournament that Takerufuji pulled out. There's been so much stuff going on. It's
wild when that happens.
But here we are, Takerufuji 2-5-8, our lone seeding Yokozuna. He came in back to back, which was beyond my expectation, our expectation.
We did not expect him here at all.
We figured he'd be on and off again. This is the pattern that the old guard left behind, and we knew he was rattled. And when he was 2-2, I think he was 2-1. He had a really good fight against Asaniyama. That was some really powerful belt silver. Like, okay, maybe he's got it together. It was 2-2, and you had gone to me, and I had said, I think he's done. I'm just like, we said that last time, and he won the U show. Let's give him another day. And then Oho beats him, and I send you a message. I'm just like, you were right.
Yeah, Oho's kind of the measuring stick. If Oho beats you, you're not having the best tournament. Granted, he did better this time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Oho. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, there were a couple of thoughts on why he might have decided to enter this tournament. One might be that he felt the frailty after winning January and knew, like, I don't have much more in the tank. And maybe he would have regretted it if he didn't try to build off of that momentum for March and then May fell apart. But now it's the reverse. Like, he may not make it to May at this point.
This was definitely a gamble. I think he went for broke. He has that 10 U show number in his head, and I think he realized that those timers in his knees that we've been talking about forever, they finally run out on him. And now, but thing is that now it's the back. Now it's, now it's the hips. Now he's just falling apart.
Right, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth when we get to Takekeisho, but the first injury you receive causes you to use other parts of your body to overcompensate. He's getting to a point where he's run out of body parts to overcompensate, and he's gotten very small. He's not as big in the upper body as he used to be, which, you could just armbar a guy out of the ring. He's lost everything. I really don't see him coming back in May unless he gets some crazy regimen going in, but certainly that's it.
It sounds like May's do or die.
Yeah.
And so either he comes back in May and he does whatever he can, or he doesn't come back in May and it's done. There is an outside chance that he does some sort of a July, like, triple down.
Maybe.
But the fact that he came back in what had to have been a bad state tells me that he knew it wasn't going to happen anymore. He just physically could not keep it up.
Right, and he is going to go on the tour. He's going to do Yokozuna ceremonies, and my guess is this is going to be him soaking up, like, this is it.
This is the final run.
He's going to smile, he's going to sign things, he's going to take pictures with babies, and he's just going to have a good time because this is it.
I'm amused that they actually do that in sumo.
I know.
They always talk about just like, oh, you take pictures with babies, you kiss babies. It's like it's a political cliche.
It is.
But in no. In sumo, you'll actually give your child.
They just have people throwing their babies.
It's like you just absorbing the sumo energy. I love how that's an actual thing.
But it's interesting because the babies kind of look like the sumo wrestlers, so I get it. I totally get it.
Large babies.
Yes.
Right. So we may see Takerufuji in May. What form he will take is hard to say, but I mean he's still the Yokozuna.
Yeah, maybe we'll see him in the announcing booth.
Yeah, maybe.
Track jacket or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he may be holding out because Segahama is going to retire this year. That's another angle.
Oh, that's another good point.
I don't know how that stock is playing out.
Yeah, it sounded like there was tension over the stock. But then he now has this beautiful thing with Takerufuji, and he's going to have someone from his own stable take the reins. I mean, my goodness, what is going on in Isegahama? That's all I can say.
It's a great group of people doing sumo. And I can sort of, if you imagine what Kakuryu did for Kirishima, and then you see Terunofuji and Takerufuji and Takarafuji and Nishikifuji and Midori. Oh,
man.
This
is like set up for years to come.
There's a lot of optimism coming out of March.
Yeah.
All right. But at least we got a little bit of Terunofuji.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Better than what we expected.
Better than we expected, yeah.
So, next up, worse than we expected.
Way worse.
Kirishima, a 5-10, going to go Katoban very hard. He was 2 losses away from Yokozuna at the end of January. And so we had been like, oh, he'll pull himself back together and he'll give it another run. Then we find out that his stable's closing. It sounds like some of the people are splitting up too.
Yeah, he's not going to be with all his guys.
So, like, he's saying goodbye to people. He's saying goodbye to his Oyakata. He's still shouldering what had to have been a soul-crushing... Because those 2 losses were both on the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, it all fell apart on him at the very end.
You cannot underestimate the sort of despair that sets in when you're that close to glory. We're talking such a giant jump from Ozeki to Yokozuna, especially in these times. And your coach is about to retire and everything's on you. You can't just get up and pick up where you left off unless you're some sort of Superman. And there are some guys who are like that, but that's not Kirishima. He's Mr. All in his head. Mm-hmm. There's no way that didn't take him down a bunch of pegs, even though he probably said, no, I'm going to do my style of sumo and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. But at night he's sitting there like, if only I had just grabbed the belt. If only I had just, hey, maybe I should watch another tape. You just picture this happening to him.
Yeah. So what I'll say, Kirishima is going to forget March ever happened.
He better.
He just ignore this entire term. There's a few people that are just like, forget this ever happened.
Yeah.
You just sweep it under the rug and then you just regroup. Also, the last day, he threw everything into Kota no Waka. And it was like he threw him maybe a half dozen like spirited throw attempts. Kota no Waka is just impossible to move sometimes. And so just dragging him around. You know, like when you're trying to move a couch by yourself and it's too heavy, but you want this done and you're too stubborn or no one can help. Like,
and you're like, I just got to get this done.
That was Kirishima. He was just like, I'm moving this couch by myself.
Right, which, I'm going to recommend to every future sumo wrestler, stop trying to move the couch by yourself. There's more than one guy who hurt himself trying to move Kota no Waka with one arm, okay?
Yeah. So, unfortunate that he sort of had a bit of a falling apart. He was still there. It seemed that there could always be an injury thing. You had mentioned that there's a back thing.
I wondered, and here's the thing about a back, right? If you have back spasms, they can come and go. So I'm not necessarily thinking a back injury. But the way he fought Kota no Waka on the last day made me say, he don't look hurt.
He pushed through.
Right, like he shot himself up with whatever Asashoryu used. And he's like, you know what, I'm going to take Uncle's advice and show up on the last day no matter what. I bet you Asashoryu was like, I wish he was my nephew. Well, no, I'm kidding. Because Hoshoryu really is the boss.
Yeah,
man.
well, I can't help but feel that in a few months' time, when Hoshoryu may or may not be a Yokozuna, Ashishori will be like, "Oh, I always knew he had it."
Yeah, I know, right? He'd be like, "It's because of me."
I would have done it sooner, but
That's what he would say. Well, it took him quite a while, but I guess I'll give it to him.
We're waiting for tweets that haven't even happened yet.
I was sure he was just too much fun.
Too good, but
Can't help it.
I'm very optimistic that Kirishima will at least clear Kadoban in May.
He
But
should.
I think it'll take him a little while to get the engine back going.
Yeah, I'm expecting like an 8-7 or a 9-6. I think he's gonna have to slowly, because he'll have a new stable master. He'll be training with different, like it'll be some of the same guys, but some different guys, and he's gonna have to just, like you said, build himself back up. But he should be fine, barring any weird injury we don't know about that I no longer suspect.
So put a pin on that one. He's not the Ozeki to watch. The Ozeki to watch is Hoshoryu.
Is he not like the most entertaining of all the Ozeki? And no slight to brand new Ozeki.
It's the consistency of his entertaining nature. It's the fact that he's always doing cool stuff, the crazy throws, what he did about Wakamoto Haru, like he just orbited him in a half second. Yeah. He just whoosh, just that kind of explosiveness.
He has explosiveness, and he's also so quick. Like he's the only guy that could do a Henka, and I'm not mad because it's so slick that it's like, come on, you didn't even see there was a Henka. How did the guy even know it was a Henka? It's like an anime move where like he disappeared. Where is he?
It was on the replay for Wakamoto Haru, like he made it's like it was the as Gintamiyama says, the Henka na Henka, because it's the grab, you grab the belt. Like in the replay, Wakamoto Haru, like it is like his hands are going out, like he looks foolish.
He does.
You're like, where'd he go?
He's in slow motion.
I know. This is Wakamoto Haru. He's not a V8 engine rip roaring, but he's still got good sumo sense and reflexes.
Well, and of course we have to talk about his epic, beat of Takerufuji to keep him from having the Zen show.
Both Takerufuji and Onosato lose to him. Yeah.
He's showing the young guys like, okay, you're strong, you're tough, I'm better. Yeah. And I love it.
And it is all in his brand of sumo.
Yes.
He doesn't, sidesteps notwithstanding, which is technically sort of in his wheelhouse, but the way he beats these guys, like particularly Takerufuji. Takerufuji just the unstoppable Mack truck the entire tournament.
They can move anybody.
And Hoshoryu just moves with him. He's just one step ahead, does the pivot, does the throw, walks away like nothing happened.
Oh, the cockiness, which usually would bother me in some ways, is just perfect.
Yeah. So that cockiness, because 3 of his 4 losses were cockiness.
Yeah.
I love the grin when Midori Fuji gave him the Kataskashi.
That was pretty
and it was
cool.
that he was just like, oh, he got me with that. Like he enjoyed it because like that's a trick he does on other people.
And it's like, you're not gonna do it to me. Oh, you did it to me.
He did it well. It's like I call him like the leader of the Thieves Guild because like he's like the master of the tricks. So whenever the tricksters go up against each other, which by the way, lose the Ura, lose the Tobizaru, loses the Midori Fuji.
Dude, just think about that for a second. Like the Koto no Waka one, that's a thing.
That was pure Ozeki sumo.
Yeah,
brilliant on both sides.
You can't even look at that as like, what's wrong with him? But yeah, that's amazing. Ura, Tobizaru, and Midori Fuji.
They got
fellow smaller guys with the tricks.
They get the drop on him, and if he had gotten any of these. So
the Yusho picture is completely different.
This is what's so good about Hoshoryu coming into this, and why first off, the fact that he was the most dominant of all Ozeki in a tournament where Ozeki dominance was very scattershot. But all those losses are fixable, and those are all people he's beaten before.
Right.
He's beaten Ura. He's beaten Tobizaru. So this is the tit for tat volley.
This is the tweaking that he still needs if he wants to be Yokozuna.
It's that So he's still in the hardening phase. He's still in the getting it together phase, and so like he's got the big wins, and now he works on the little wins, and
right, like maybe dial the passion back just a little bit. Yeah. because it works against him sometimes.
It's he finding that balance. Only he knows where that line is.
Right.
Maybe he just always loses those matches.
Right, and maybe at some point it ceases to matter.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, Ura's not going to be up here. Tobizaro isn't going to be up here. Takerufuji, who knows? He's a Fuji. He's an Isegahama. Those people, I don't know. But Hoshoryu, I expect to always be up here. So it may not matter at some point. But, you know, I really enjoyed, particularly being a diehard Takekeisho fan. Nothing will change that. But it's been years of suffering. It is really nice to watch a guy who dominates consistently.
Yes, this is what Hoshoryu is going to represent, is what looks like somebody who's going to be taking that mantle. And you look at him, you're like, he can probably get it this year. If he keeps fighting. He could.
I hope.
He is now. It's May, July, September, November. He's got a little bit of room,
but it's starting. The door's starting to close already. It's the way it goes.
He needs that. Well, you get that one show, and then everybody's going to be
right. It flips that quick.
Flips that switch. So yeah. So he's got some time to get it done.
Yeah.
And he's got probably the best momentum going into May for it.
Yeah, he's most certainly the most consistent. But don't count out Kotonowaka. Obviously, first time Ozeki.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to him in a minute. Oh my God, Kotonowaka, exceptional. So, all right, so this will be a sigh of relief heard. Actually, no, you were. We heard exactly how you reacted to this fight because it was live on the Salt City Sumo. Shout out to Salt City Sumo for bringing Maria along as a guest representative.
Yeah, that was kind of hilarious and embarrassing at the same time because. So, yeah, kudos to those guys. Goose is really awesome. Neil's awesome. I didn't meet Ike, but he's probably awesome as well. They invite me to come on the show, and I'm thinking to myself, please let Takekeisho have gotten his 8 wins before I have to watch the show. Because as most of you know who listen to the show frequently enough, I have John send me a message saying no Takekeisho injury, meaning Takekeisho wasn't taken out in a wheelchair or was unconscious. I'm expecting horrible things every time Takekeisho gets in the ring. So here I have to watch it live, and we're doing live commentary, and I know that he's really got to win this match, and I might have reacted quite strongly. I was really glad that I was not on physical camera because my chair went across the room.
It's on wheels, by the way.
Yeah, and
it wasn't thrown.
No. I sort of jumped up so fast and so quick, like my brain. I just was pure reaction. That the chair goes flying, and I tripped on something, and I actually fell on the floor, but nobody could see it, and I just stood right up and said, "Well, and now I'm gonna enjoy the next 2 matches." Cool. So yes, that was a blast doing Salt City Sumo. Thank you guys again. It was just all around awesome. Hopefully we can do it again. Hopefully, maybe they can come on our show and do something fun. Either way, that Takekeisho match, I think it showed a lot of people something that I already knew, that you already knew. Any Takekeisho fan knows.
It's the sumo sense.
Yeah.
His third eye, his sixth sense, whatever you want to call it, that has always been the ace up his sleeve. And he pulled it out this time. So here's things that he did. So both Kotonowaka and Ura, he wins in a grapple. The way he beat Kotonowaka is ridiculous, by the way. I still can't parse it. He out Tobizaru's Tobizaru. He usually has trouble with that.
Yeah.
But Tobizaru went after him, and he did a solid parry fight with him. Longer than it was like 15, 20-second match. It was pretty. It was a lot for him.
He's increased his endurance a lot.
Yes.
Since even he was way stronger in the past, but the endurance has always been an issue. Now he doesn't have the strength. He has increased his endurance. He has been evolving.
Yes.
Even though there are many people who probably just don't care to see it, that don't notice all those little things that he's doing out there.
Yeah, and these are closing the gaps that are being exposed by the fact that he can't just launch people in orbit anymore.
Right.
When he fought Meisei had an awesome tournament, which you would not guess by his record.
Of course.
Gets inside on Takekeisho, starts driving him. Takekeisho does a ring edge reversal like he's Wakamoto Haru.
I was like,
Yeah. So he out of nowhere, he's coming up with this plan B, C, D, E, F kind of sumo, and like really looking good doing it, and clearly being held together with a little bit of duct tape and silly string. But this is a man who said, I am not losing this rank, and I am going to do absolutely everything within my power. And that is that grit, that ability to find an avenue when there is nothing that you can see.
I'm going to say this, and it probably is going to sound outrageous, but it's not. Takerufuji is way more skilled in this way than anybody we've ever seen. Look at the greats like Hakuho and, Asashuri. We talk about them a lot. They had all the physical parts they needed so that they never were in too desperate of a situation. At the end of Hakuho's career, certainly. But Takerufuji's always been sort of like not had all the parts he needed. And as the injuries grew, he, had to come up with new ways to win. A lot of guys in that situation don't win. They continue to lose. They drop out. He finds a way to put his body on the line and win. And the reasoning, there's a lot of reasons, but this was like the thing that came to me. Takerufuji's desire to win is stronger than almost anybody's work ethic. The man just can't conceive of losing that Ozeki rank. And until his body physically does not move anymore, he will keep thinking of ways to get out of it. That's a determination that a lot of these guys haven't been put to the test to even know if they have that in them, because they're more skilled or they have more tricks in their sleeve. They haven't been pushed up against that wall ever in their career like Takerufuji has. So that's why he's so skilled at it.
Yeah. So this is not, again, not to disparage the other wrestlers, because there is always
not at all. No.
When you are up against that wall, and I feel like everybody's had that moment in their lives where they're physically unable to do something, or like they're burned out, or they're hitting that point. It then becomes a measure of willpower.
Yep.
And that, do you stick through it? Do you gut it out? Do you find another way out? Do you just ease off? Do you reprioritize? Like this is just what he is made up of.
Right. This is an intrinsic quality. This isn't something that I'm saying like, he cares more than everybody else.
Yeah.
There's something in him that does not allow him to give up. The wheels are just keep turning. And it is it's going to get harder and harder.
Well, there are some people that they're like, they don't have any quit in them. It's going to get them killed.
Yeah, that might be him.
This is the flip side of that, I will say.
Yes, agreed.
But this is very much his personality showed through in the sumo. And for somebody who's very withdrawn, like this is like, if you wanted to see what the man is.
You saw it in this tournament.
Yeah.
And some people really didn't know until he tried to throw a massive man like Kotonowaka just how much Takerufuji wants to win. Like, I felt like he showed everything about himself in that match. And, of course, he gets injured in that match because that's on brand as well. And the official thing was right pectoral injury. So, let's talk about that for a second. That's something that only like weightlifters get from trying to lift weights way above what they can do. Obviously, that's what he did when he tried to one arm throw Kotonowaka. It looked ridiculous, and he still pulled off getting in the win. Typically, that needs surgery. To have a minor version of that, I don't think he has a minor version. First of all, the minute the match was over, I'm watching it and I'm like, ugh, he is visibly showing pain. Takerufuji never shows pain. Then later on, there's an interview where the coach says, oh, Takerufuji was saying this hurts so bad and he never talks about pain. I'm like, exactly. I know Takerufuji, right? So we know he's not going to get surgery, of course. And so now he is down to one arm. So now he'll have to do tactics with one arm and one part of his chest with no neck. And I don't know how the legs are doing. And this is also a very similar type injury to what ended Kisano Sato's career. So we will see this Mr. Willpower, if he can yet again escape his fate of losing Ozeki, but now he has 2 tournaments to do it instead of Ozeki Wake. So
he'll have his Katoban bye back for May.
It is starting to become very, very difficult to be a diehard Takakeisho fan because you're just scared all the time.
He's teetering.
Yeah. But kudos to him.
Yeah, he got it.
I was so incredibly happy and proud that he fought the way he did. I wish that he had not hurt himself, but that took a lot of guts to do that to Kota Nowaka. And I think it affected the rest of his tournament, honestly. I think he was a little thrown off by everything that occurred in that match.
It's a bit wild.
So
Kota Nowaka, we keep talking about him, and now we're going to talk about him.
That's right.
10-5 for Shinozeki.
Amazing.
Very impressive. And the way he carried himself, he didn't show nerves until the very end. And as we can see from everyone else, both Kirishima, Hoshoryu, and our history of watching Ozekis, that Shinozeki is rough.
They usually go Kataban.
You go like when
8-7.
Hoshoryu got an 8-7. We're like, wow, that was good.
Right.
Because of the way he was fighting, he was all over the place. So Kota Nowaka gets in 10-5. 3 of those 5 losses are in the final stages.
And the truth is, like, okay, Takerufuji surprised him. I don't think they had never faced each other. I don't think he was ready for the raw power. Nobody was ready in this tournament. That's part of why Takerufuji got so many guys. They just couldn't believe how strong he is.
I think this was the nerves because he is sitting right there. He is 8-2.
Mm-hmm.
And he's finding out that he is the best record of all the Ozeki at this point in the tournament.
Yeah.
Hoshoryu has 3 losses. Kirishima and Takakeisho are falling apart. So Kota Nowaka finds in his initial Ozeki tournament that it is now up to him to carry the burden of the entire top ranks. Yokozuna gone.
Yep.
Kirishima on his way to Katoban.
And Dad's there.
Ringside. So that is what I think the 10-5 comes from. I think.
Oh, yeah. That's so we talk about that all the time.
Yeah. So it's. I think that Kota Nowaka, soon to be Kotozakura, by the way.
Yes, that's right. This is our last time saying this name, probably.
The ability for him to fight this well and on this level on the first run is remarkable.
It really is. And I think he got a little outshined because of the dramatics of everything else, but he shouldn't be. Like, there really should be a lot of talk about, okay, this guy's the next Yokozuna. I really do think that some of the losses he got at the end, he shouldn't have got. For one, Takakeisho, that was like the craziest thing ever. He probably would have won that match if Takakeisho didn't try something insane. And Takerufuji, once again, you got the nerves, but I think he... I learned in the Salt City podcast that Takerufuji can bench press 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Which means he can push anybody out. And Kota Nowaka is not used to somebody being able to hit him with that level of force.
That's definitely a factor.
So there's 2 right there. He could have been 12-3.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the 10-5, it's not a real 10-5. It's sort of like a, it just kind of tensed up at the end. He's going to learn from that, and he's going to be way better.
Yeah, we look at Kota Nowaka. So we talked about Hoshoryu. He's like definitely on his way. Kota Nowaka.
If he's not Yokozuna, like soon-ish, maybe we won't say this year, but it could be. If he's not Yokozuna next year, there's something wrong.
Don't blink.
Yeah.
Don't blink.
He just looks like a Yokozuna. Let me just put it to you that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to see him settled in, like Kirishima settled into Ozeki. And he's going to be devastating. He is going to be. There's just his defense is almost impenetrable. He goes between sumo styles,
and he's so big that it's not like typically anybody's going to just manhandle him.
And he's young,
exactly. And he's got the legacy thing going.
Yes.
Like, could you see the future of like Kota Nowaka Hoshoryu rivalry going on?
It's
already starting.
It's already starting. Yeah, the 2 of those. It's been. They've all had other people they've been going after, but soon it's going to happen that it'll be day 15 and the 2 Yokozuna have to face each other,
and it'll be those 2.
Mm-hmm.
I look forward to that day.
Yeah, and maybe Kirishima can get a little inspiration from this. But again, March is done. March doesn't exist for Kirishima. I'm not putting
Somebody
any
needs to send him to the spa.
Yep. Just wash this entire taste out of your mouth.
Yeah, it'll be okay.
Blame Osaka. It's not your fault.
That's right. Stormy Basho.
Stormy Basho. It happens. It had to happen to somebody.
Exactly.
All right. Oh, speaking of it had to happen to somebody. Ooh, this made me sad. Daisho, Sekiwaki 1E, 6 and 9. So he saw that Kota Nawaka had the fall from grace, and I guess he decided it was his turn.
Yeah.
This is the, like we always talk about, that Sekiwaki spot. It's because
it's a killer.
You'll do well, and then nothing changes.
Right. You just stay at the same rank. You earn nothing from it until your body is just so beat down you fall out of the rank.
Yeah. So I feel like he couldn't do it all 15 days.
He looks very beat up. Like, I think this has a lot to do with injuries, and I think he's getting older and older. He had sort of a window 2 years ago that he needed to jump through, and now time is taking its toll. He's been winning the head-to-heads with Takakeisho consistently now. Okay,
which may be more on Takakeisho, but we don't
No, that was a pure Daisho win. That was a very crafty win, and a win that usually happens to him.
Yes.
So I give him full credit for that, but I also say the Kota Nawaka match never had to happen if Takakeisho won that fight. So kudos to you, Daisho, but still.
Yeah. So he's still evolving. He's keeping his power. He's still working on things, but it's that 2 steps forward, 1 step back thing.
Yeah.
Big losses for him were Oho and Gonoyama.
Yeah.
Which was the big young guy starting to push him around, which is
bad sign.
It's a bad sign.
Especially Oho. I'm sorry. Anytime you lose to Oho, you're having a bad tournament.
We'll get to him.
I know. I'm ragging on him too much because I'm a jerk.
Well, he deserves it, but
sorry, that's fine.
No, I'm setting myself up to eat my words on Oho.
Well, that would be good though. We want people to succeed and tell us we're stupid.
Yes, we're gonna get to that. Those exact words. Put that in the back of your head. I'm gonna say that to myself. But yeah, with a 6 and 9. So Wakamoto Haru got to 6 and 9. They kicked him out of Sanyaku. I think they're gonna do the same thing to him.
It's time.
So he'll have to rebuild, and kind of sucks. But like this is the thing. Like now he's not just fighting his opponents. Now he's fighting time.
Yeah.
And maybe he can get a big enough bag of tricks and sort of push himself back upwards. And I'd say there's still the outside chance, but this one hurt a bit for me.
Yeah, you're starting to see.
It wasn't like we go to Kirishima, we're just like, it's a fluke.
Yeah.
Who cares? You'll be back. Or go to Daisho. I'm just like, you got those 9 losses are on you, man.
Yeah, you don't want to like start looking like Takerufuji, man. Like it's starting to look a little bit danger zone.
A little dangerous, but we'll give him May to pull it back up.
Yep.
They will park him right down on Megashiro 1.
Right. And
then again, like I'm looking to Wakamoto Haru and just like, they knock him down. It goes back to him to prove himself. So it'll be up to him to prove himself, but now he's moving down.
It's almost like the Ozeki Wake thing.
Yes, a little bit.
A little bit of that.
Just a rung below. So Wakamoto Haru, we just made mention. The quiet, stable, consistent sturdiness, and what's all been going on, up and down everywhere, to the point like you almost forgot
that he was around.
It was that lost in the shuffle, particularly this tournament with all the craziness going on.
Right, no one was thinking of him.
Yeah, the people at the very top are falling apart. These young hotshots are coming out of nowhere. Everybody's excited for the future of sumo that we've all been waiting for a while now.
Yeah.
And Wakamoto Haru's over there being like, I'm doing good sumo.
Remember me.
So here's the problem with that 9 and 6, though. He's not going down, but as we're mentioning with Daisho, he's not going up.
Right. He's set up for, okay, so you're going to get a nice little half-rung promotion, and then what are you going to do? Like, is there anything more you can give us? Man, I have to talk about the fact that he got manhandled by Takerufuji. That was astonishing to me.
I would say what you said for Kotonowaka, that
Just didn't expect it.
People didn't realize like you look at Takerufuji, like he has like the bodybuilder build, but there's
But so did like sort of Kotoeko. I mean,
like there's the Kotoeko, it's the Ishiura look,
Shohozan.
and so you look at some of these people and you're just like, you've got a lot of muscle, but you're not gonna move this bulk, and then they move the bulk and they're like, what?
Right, like you can't tell when you look at him per se that, like I said, he always kind of, I'm like, is he big or is he little? He's got this weird combination of like really tiny legs and a really big upper body.
Super jacked,
but it's like we've seen jacked and it hasn't translated to power.
It doesn't always work this way.
So yeah, you're probably right. Like
also look at his losses. Takerufuji, okay. Hoshoryu, okay. Onosato, okay. Kotonowaka, okay. So like all of his losses, you look at him, you're like, all right, he only loses to either people who were in Sanyaku or better, or people who are very, very soon going to be there.
Right. So it does tell you though that he unfortunately has to be able to step into the next rung because there's all these killers ahead of him.
So typically the problem in Sanyaku that will happen is that you start losing the people below you, which is how you get pulled down. See Daisho, see Wakamoto Haru when he was sick in January.
Yeah.
Or
November.
Yeah. No, it was November.
Oh, November. Okay.
November. It's March. It's crazy.
Yeah, when is it?
But so for better or for worse, good sumo, good performance, well done, Wakamoto Haru.
Glad to see you're doing good.
This is why I'm glad it's 42 opinions, personally, because everybody gets their shake.
Everybody should get their shake.
Everybody gets their shake. Nobody's gonna talk about Wakamoto Haru.
No, they're gonna right.
We got you. Right. We got you, boy.
Look, no one is going to talk about Nishikigi but us too, so
oh, no.
just remember that.
I don't think Nishikigi wants to talk about Nishikigi.
Yeah, Nishikigi's like, you're talking about Kirishima? I don't want to think about this tournament either.
No, yeah, that's his takeaway. But anyway, he that's one more win, so maybe he takes that off of Abi.
Yeah. Then you're 10-5.
10-5, now it's a run. So
yeah, I mean, if he took Abi and Daisho out, you got an 11-4.
11-4. You're runner-up in the U show.
Yeah, he's got to really think about that when he approaches the next.
It is a battle of inches for him. He's not fighting injury in time. He's a little bit older, but
he's not. Yeah,
there's no timer in the background for him yet.
Right.
Yet.
You should take advantage of that.
And then when your brother comes up, the two of you guys can really help each other.
Right. You can start like, we can't face each other. Let's pick each other's opponents off.
There we go.
The team element of sumo.
So this one also snuck on me. Abi with a 9-6.
Abi
9-6.
is so confusing because it looked like he started off well, and then when he gets the 2 losses in a row, I thought, he's going to fall apart. He gets the win against Ura, gets the 2 losses. I'm like, this is where his tournament just tanks. And then he sort of squeaks it out, and I'm like, wow, 9-6. I felt like it was the reverse.
So I feel like this is like you don't have to run faster than the bear. You just have to run faster than the guy next to you.
That's correct.
A little bit. So I feel like on this one, like Abi, more lucky than good, but still good.
Yeah.
Like, some of these went like he smokes Takakeisho and Daisho, and these are his matches that he has in his favor. But like,
still, you got to do that.
He's upseating people. He gave Ura no quarter.
Yeah.
So like, and fighting Shunana Umi, nobody was moving him.
Right.
And he hit Shunana Umi so hard in the Tachi-Eye that Shunana Umi hit his snooze button hit.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh crap, we're fighting.
That's
Where
right.
am I? Oh no.
Let me try to pull.
So Abi, like out of character for him. So Abi hits him so hard he loses his sumo sense. That is all Abi. That is all
you
him
gotta
doing.
wonder like what was going through Abi's head that day. He's like, this dude's big. I'm gonna really go for it.
I'm gonna rip him up. So good with the consistency. He'll be back to Sekiwake. He'll get to figure that out again. And we were mentioning in January, we're like, how is he going to do for the long term after the passing of Stablemaster? This tells me, I think he's got something figured out.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the first time in a while where he's gotten into Sanyaku and he's put in another good score.
Another good thing. So I am taking away from, say what you want about, this was the tournament to beat people that maybe you couldn't beat before, but like if you were still chasing those demons, it'd be a 6-9 easy. So he's
right.
There is a resiliency here.
Agreed.
And that's like a heartwarming. Underneath the 9-6 is a feel good guy who might henk at you.
Right.
So
beware.
But well done. It's a different flavor of 9-6. It's wholesome. It's a very special episode of 9-6.
I like it. And that is a good way to put it.
All right. So this one hurt too.
This one was almost like a pure comedy.
Poor boy Nishikigi has the best possible start you could ever want to a tournament. Day 1 beats the Yokozuna.
And I knew he was going to do it.
When I saw that on the first day, I'm like, ooh, they're not giving Takerufuji anything easy off the rip. And he beats him almost the same way that Takerufuji has him back. He's just like, nah, I'm just going to throw you. And then no sells it. Like, oh, it's beautiful. I was like, oh, he's back. And then reality catches up to him a little bit. And like this is all just.
He's no spring chicken.
That everybody. Now I will compare this 3-12 to the other Sanyaku, and like this is what happens when all of Sanyaku is just like a small box. Like there's all of those ladders, like the 17 ladders of Megashira are wedged into 4 Sanyaku slots in terms of this level of skill, the level of competition, of pressure on you, which is why the Sanyaku curse is a thing.
Right.
And so Nishikigi is unfortunately the cautionary tale of sometimes you're good enough, but not good enough.
And it's funny because one of his only wins was against Meisei, so that tells you kind of what happened to Meisei this tournament. Like, if he could have an unfortunate loss, he had one.
Meisei, the best looking Makakoshi you'll see in a long time.
Yes, pretty much. Whereas Nishikigi, he's going to drop significantly unless something weird happens. And he's just going to start over. Hopefully he is physically okay, so wherever he gets dumped, he'll have a good tournament.
He'll be fine. So the takeaway for him, and I think they had one of the guest speakers they had on one of the live days was Shohozan. And
I didn't see that.
I didn't hear what he said. I just saw him in the booth. But
okay.
They says like former Kamasubi Shohozan.
Right. Didn't matter that was like a brief period of time.
Nishikigi is going to be telling people he was Kamasubi until the day he dies.
Absolutely. He should.
So
put it on a shirt.
So he's Kamasubi. It doesn't matter what happened to him.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to in 2 months, in 2 weeks, nobody's going to remember this.
No.
But they will remember that he was Sanyaku.
Yeah. That is the nice thing about sumo is it's like goldfish memory.
Yes.
It really is. It's like, wait, what happened? Let me look at the records.
Yeah.
You totally forget that was the tournament that like horrible things happened.
I was concerned that an extra 2 days away from the tournament, I would start losing memory about what happened.
I know, right? It's like with us not doing the show on the normal day, it's like the whole sumo world has moved past us.
Oh my goodness. That's why I bless these notes in front of us.
Oh yes.
That's why we make them. But anyway, Nishikigi was just routed, but there was no injury. There was no.
Hey, he still picks up money for that Kimboshi.
Does.
So.
Other checks in the mail for life.
So he's done all he needs to do.
Yeah.
Really?
That is a great looking 3-12 if you have a certain perspective on it.
Exactly. He made more money in that 3-12 than some guys will make in a year. So.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he'll fill his bathtub full of money and just cry himself to sleep.
That's right.
There you do. Anyway, so that was all craziness, and the crazy just doesn't stop in this tournament.
No, this was crazy all around.
Right, so hometown boy Ura Megashira won. He's 6-9, and I don't think you'll find a soul in Osaka who cares.
You know, I brought this up when I was doing the Salt City podcast. Nobody ever cares what Ura's score is beyond the fact of, like, is he still going to be in the top division? Cool.
Yeah.
Because he's entertaining regardless. You don't even know what his score is until the end of the tournament, ever.
The way that the crowd was crazy anytime he did something, and you can tell that Ura was fueled by it.
Oh, he had so much bounce in his step. It was insane.
He went for stuff, and just for the sake of going for it. So also like so many of those wins, those 6 wins were like crazy stuff.
Crazy wins.
Crazy. So Kataskashi, we talk about Midori Fuji.
Yes.
2 Kataskashi for Ura, and they're both Ozeki.
What I find particularly comical about it is, it's almost like he gets his inspiration the day he shows up. So there had to be at least a little moment of like, Midori Fuji's trying this move. Let me give it a whirl. Because he's said, he doesn't plan his matches. He just goes in there like a painter who's painting a portrait. Like, what do I feel like doing? Like, what's his arm doing? Perhaps I could do something with it.
Yeah. He heard that Tsuchiyoshi was going to retire, so he leg picks Nishikigi.
Yeah, come on. That was the best homage. He did that on purpose.
It feels like it. So, this got lost, and then I remembered so he was fighting Kirishima back when we weren't quite sure, and he does the double duck. Like, he ducks down, and then he goes like 2 layers lower.
And you're like, he disappeared.
And so he goes underwater, and Kirishima then overleans because he has no idea what the hell Ura's doing, and then Ura pops up. Like, sometimes like when you have like a fishing bopper and you pull it under the water, and then it just pops right out of the water. He does that, and he throws Kirishima. Again, 3 of his 6 wins were against Ozeki.
Right. Because they have no idea what this dude's going to do.
And so, like, that tells you, like, his tricks are crazy, and they work against the people who are doing well.
Who was it? Was it Meisei that he did got behind him?
The dozy-do. Yeah.
That was so incredible.
Meisei's driving with power.
Once again,
craziness.
Meisei gets screwed.
Meisei, oh my God. Meisei should really call an insurance agent because there's been a robbery.
Yeah.
But so, like, Meisei is driving with intent. Gets him to the edge. Ura does a crazy legendary hold at one edge. And Meisei's like, fine, I'll try the other end. Drags him around. Runs him across the ring. This
was like Butsukkari practice.
Yes. Yeah. Ura holds again. Notices the slight window. Maybe Meisei's like, this is like a lot of guy to drag around the ring. And then does that weird Hoshoryu-esque physics-defying slips behind him in like a blink of an eye. Like the slow-mo, he looked fast. Yeah. And then he pulls Meisei out.
And Meisei had to be like, are you kidding me?
And the crowd goes insane. And
he almost tried to. He almost had a Tommy Fuji. Tommy Fuji's like, nah, I'm just gonna pick you up and dump you out because I'm not gonna let you pull your stunts on me.
Tommy Fuji said, I learned this one from the Yokozuna. Arm clamps him out.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you know what? I'm sure Takerufuji gave him a talk. When you ever grab him and get him out, like just don't give him a chance.
Almost like pick Daisho, by the way. It would have worked. Ura stepped out in the middle of it.
I know.
That was so close to being a 7 and 8 with 2 leg picks, 2 Kataskashi.
If he could have gotten an 8 and 7, he would have gotten some technique prize or something.
Wow.
If they could give him if they had a reason to give him a prize, they would have given it to him.
Oh man, so close, so close.
What a blessing of a sumo wrestler.
What fun. And it is like some of these tricks he's pulling are against the right people that you're like, maybe this roller coaster is gonna keep going.
I know. I mean, he's gonna get demoted a bit, but he might just take Meisei's spot.
He's not gonna go far.
Yeah.
Again, these wins.
He's too entertaining.
Also, these wins against high profile opponents.
Right. These are solid wins.
Solid wins. So bless Ura.
Ugh. Sumo would not be the same without him.
And that crowd. I mean, that is the X factor.
We forget about the crowd because it's been years without crowds.
Yeah.
We kind of keep forgetting, like the looks on their faces. Like if you get an opportunity to watch any of those matches, just look at the individual crowd. Those people are so pumped. It's unbelievable.
And they're like, and then the Hira de Umi hair pull reversal, they were booing. They were mad.
Was that actually a hair pull?
It was accidental, but like his hand.
Like, was his hand really grabbing it? I couldn't tell. Like, it looked like
I think like he was going for like the neck, but his hand was a little too up.
Got it.
So it wasn't like a couple other hair pulls that we've seen from certain other people.
Right, where they're trying to sneak pull.
This wasn't a sneak. This was a
misplaced.
His paintbrush went a little north, kind of a deal.
Gotcha.
That's my interpretation. Maybe he was.
I mean, it definitely looked like he had his hair, but to me it was like, how could you be that blatant? So I almost wondered, like, did he have his hands like folded on top of it?
Maybe.
But there's no way to tell from the angles we were looking at.
No, but regardless.
Yeah.
The
let's just say
fun.
It was very close to being an 8 and 7. There were lots of matches where it went just a little bit different.
Just a little bit.
And then he's in Sanyaku again.
Again, yeah.
So,
it's
So close, but so far.
So here comes Asaniyama, 9-6.
What a roller coaster he had with that 9-6.
15 days injury-free Asaniyama. Yes. We've got it, and now he's in Sanyaku.
I have to say, like, his win against Takerufuji was literally the best. First of all, when I saw that, like, everyone's like, who are they going to put him up against? And I saw them put him up against Asaniyama. I'm like, this is the one guy who could pull it off.
In the back, as soon as I saw that matchup, I'm like, Asaniyama can beat him.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Because there's just something about him that he's way more talented than he's ever been able to show. You know, like, consistently. You'll see glimpses of the brilliance. You'll see why Hakuho thinks he's the next Yokozuna. He never puts it all together, but you see it. Everything was in that Takerufuji match. He was not intimidated. He knew how powerful this guy was. He hadn't felt it for himself, but he knew what he was doing to everybody else. And he shocked the man so much he, like, broke his leg, you know?
Yeah, that was, oof, yeah.
That part wasn't so good, but...
Yeah, but, like, he was like, he looked at him and was just like, I know how to beat you.
Right.
And he wasn't rattled.
He wasn't rattled, and
it
shook the young guy.
Didn't look past him. He's like you and me going.
I'm an actual wall that you're going to have to push through if you want to. Like, that was what I wanted to see from Asaniyama.
Yeah, I mean, I admit I was rooting for him because he was my Yusho pick. I feel like he I feel like he won in a different way in this tournament. He also doubled down on the belt chest to chest with Takerufuji. Like, I almost feel like he could have won if he did something else, the way Takerufuji was. But Asaniyama's just like, I'm going to beat you my way.
Right. He's really trying to be the man. He's not quite there yet. But maybe that is a little bit of, like, recovering from injury. That's my hope. Yeah, but, you know, he doesn't have the fan base he used to have. A lot of people abandoned ship with the demotion. So you don't hear people saying, yay, Asaniyama. It's like he's all alone now.
Well, also, he didn't help his own cause. He keeps getting injured.
Right. Like, he's not giving anybody, like, excitement. Yeah. But I think that's probably why now I'm suddenly jumping on the train. I'm like, oh, people don't like him, so I have to like him.
We always liked him, but we knew there was something missing.
Right.
And that was always the thing that we're like, he doesn't have that heart. He doesn't have
the heart, yeah.
But now the heart's there, and everything else is gone. We're
exactly.
Like, we're like the heart is all we ever cared about.
Right. Yeah. And that's it. When you can see the heart, when you can see somebody trying, when you can see them evolving and just trying to defeat their own demons, basically, it's hard not to root for the person. Yeah.
So, Meisei had a lot of bad luck wins. Him and Asaniyama, legendary Yotsu match, the two of them. That was a loss Meisei should be proud of because that was such a badass fight.
Right. Like, sometimes the guy just gets the best of you, but you both were giving it everything you had.
Everything. Oh, man. Asaniyama, so good. And now I'm wondering. Now, again, this is the first time he's had a full 15 days.
Yeah.
Big asterisk on this, but, like, part of me wonders if once he hits Sanyaku and he can officially go on a run, I'm wondering if there's going to be a fire lit.
I hope so.
I wonder if because all this stuff up until now, for a lot of this is it's just like winning is a given. It's either you win or it takes even more time than it should.
Right.
It's an expectation. But once he's Kamasubi, then it is, you get that double-digit win, you know, it's in the books. It's on the list.
Right. And, you know, the truth of the matter is for him, that win against Takerufuji, he can really build from that. Because that was the guy who beat everybody but not him. So if he takes something from that match and maybe, I don't know, takes like what you needed to win that match into every single match, he might finally reach where he wants to reach. Like, it was good for him to see that guy go on the run that he went on and win the Yusho and say, this is what I have to do. And I beat that guy, so I can do that. He needs that fire. It's still not quite there. Yeah. I hope it's going to be
Hope. There's a
lot. He better get into Sanyaku. They better not. I don't think there's any way they can get rid of him now, but there was a point where...
So, if it was a 10-5, like, there'd be absolutely no way. With a 9-6, I think he's still pretty solid in.
Like, they could put him in Maegashira 1 East if they wanted to be jerks, but...
If it was an 8-7, they'd do that to him.
Right. With a 9-6, he should
With a 9-6, it's pretty much a done deal. particularly because he beats Abi. He does lose to Wakamoto. Again, if he beats Wakamoto Haru on the last day,
It's a given.
it's a given. I still think he's done enough because, again, here's a win on Kotonowaka, Kirishima, Daisho, Abi, Nishikigi. So he's beating all the people above him, most of them. So on paper, it should be.
Yeah.
It should be.
Right. He can take Nishikigi's spot and we don't think twice about it.
Yeah. There may be 5 people in Sanyaku. But
Right. They might open some spots.
I don't think they'll be benching him.
If they do, then we know they're mad at him still.
I'll be mad.
I'm like, you know what, guys? You played a little bit too many games for my liking.
I'll go on Google Translate and I'll figure out how to write a letter to them.
And I'm like, who's this guy?
You can't do this to me.
Yeah, no, you know what they'll do? They'll put Tobi Zaru in Komusubi because he has such a favor in the Bachike.
Tobi Zaru with an 8 and 7 down here laps of.
They're like, I'm sorry, he just had a better tournament than you did.
Crazy enough to be true.
I know. Don't put it past him.
So, somebody who also came very close to Sanyaku, Takerufuji with an 8 and 7.
He will get thrown to that Mega Share 1 spot.
He definitely is. So he had a rally on the second week that sort of kids. He was
looking shaky. Yeah.
Definitely feeling those nerves.
He's fighting all the top guys in the very beginning.
A little bit more passive. Now, he does have a defensive sumo style. He does react better and sort of then uses his pressure to force people to make mistakes. But
he actually did pretty good, though, considering he had Murderer's Row.
He did. Again, anything that's a Kachikoshi in those top 5, particularly these days, means you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
That's a given. And particularly look around, there's a 6 and 9, there's a 6 and 9, there's a 7 and 8, there's a 5 and 10.
True. He survived.
You survived with that 8 and 7, and he'll be going up. So that there was a lot of positive to take away from this, and it feels like a lot of those losses were nerves. We're having to deal with this jump up in competition. So all fixable things, and hopefully for him, he can look at his friend Takerufuji, get inspired.
Yep. And, if Takerufuji keeps rising in the ranks, he won't have to fight him.
Yes.
Could you picture this? We have Atamifuji, Takerufuji, Midorifuji, and Nishikifuji all, up near the top, and none of them have to fight each other.
Really, it's all on Nishikifuji to get it up there, and he's working on it.
He's working on it.
But, yeah. So he did it. We had mentioned against Uri, he had the very fun lift out. We got to see Uri's legs kick in the air like a baby. It was always fun.
That was a very funny match.
He's got the power.
Yeah.
And he can clamp down. It's there when he can figure it out.
You see the shades of Terunofuji in the upper body and the way that he can move.
We're still optimistic on him. With the 8 and 7, a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, him."
That's how sumo is. We're always looking for the new hotness.
This is how March is too.
Yeah, March was just like, okay, all hopes on Kotonowaka. Oh, there's this Takerufuji guy. Oh, Hoshiryu's doing really good. All of a sudden, get rid of Kotonowaka. Yeah. Oh, Atamifuji, yeah, he's going to be great. Look at Ono Sato. There's just always somebody else.
Yeah, well, particularly now that we went from 2 or 3 prospects, and now there's 8.
Yeah, and all of them are fulfilling their role. Yes. Some are doing better than others, but Gonoyama's still doing his thing.
Yeah. Gonoyama, double-digit wins. We're going to talk about him.
Yeah.
I want to talk about somebody flying under the radar who shouldn't be.
Oh, he's going to be so good at some point. He's going to be right up there with all the other guys we've been talking about.
He's already so good. Don't.
He is.
People are. I feel like
people are sleeping on him a little because
guys,
certain matches that he doesn't look as good in. That's the reason. We'll go over his matches.
Yeah, guys, you are leaving the hen house door open.
Wide open. Good, do it. Because I'm rooting for Gonoyama. Okay?
Yes, and I'm.
He's buddies with Ura too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I'm rooting for Takerufuji as well. We're gonna have this. We're gonna be stacked.
I can't wait to be stacked.
This time in 2025, all these people.
Well, yeah. Eventually, somebody's gonna get Yokozuna, and these top guys are used to beating all these lower guys. So we will actually start to get Yokozuna like sumo.
Oh my goodness!
Once we filter out, I mean, no one's gonna be as good as the old guard, in the way that the old guard is good. There's a transition going on.
Takerufuji, keep at it. That 8 and 7, you should be proud.
Absolutely.
So, okay. And again, Meisei fights so well and gets a 6 and 9.
tells you something.
To fight this well and still be Makakoshi is just showing you the level of competition up here. Like this is like on par with Sekiwake Meisei, the way he fought. His presence, his dominance, his aggression.
And you'll never know now because of that record, but I mean, he was really in a lot of these matches that he lost. Yeah. They were so close to being...
The way he beats Takerufuji, say what you will about the state of Takerufuji, he pushes up against Takerufuji. He's going down and up. He's pushing up a mountain.
Right.
And Takerufuji can't hold the way he is. That's a lot of guy to push upwards. And he hits a point where he can't really move Takerufuji much more. And so Meisei is just like, I'm just going to dig deeper and I'm going to push harder. That is all Meisei. That is 100% on brand win.
You got to wonder if he's stepped up his training in the off season between January and March, because he definitely had a step in improvement as far as like how he approached some of these matches. Like you said, the Meisei of old.
And a lot of these matches, like, he was in it to the end. That's another thing. There was only a few matches that he got smoked or just completely outmaneuvered. A bunch of other
he just looked so good.
Yeah, like we were mentioning before, the Takakeisho reversal at the edge, like he had Takakeisho beat, and it was only because Takakeisho was like, I'm not letting this happen to me.
Right, he was a little too determined.
And he pulls out a weird trick that he doesn't do.
Right, that was like sort of the... Once again, it's like you're not expecting... People have gotten used to Takakeisho doing a certain thing, and in this tournament, he's like, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do.
Whatever I want.
And if you lost in that sense, you know, how upset can you get?
How upset can you get? Yeah. And so he's not moving up, which is very unfortunate for the amount of effort he put in.
But he's got like Oho and Takanosho with Oho's got a better record than him.
How about that?
Takanosho.
Yeah, his performance was magnificent. It just sucks that it came with a 6 and 9. Oh, it's so bad.
He just didn't deserve a 6 and 9. That's for sure.
Didn't deserve it, not the way he fought, but that's the way sumo is. And this again, I look at this and say, look at everyone else. Look at how badass everyone else is fighting to have this kind of a performance be a Makakoshi.
Right, exactly. It's actually a good feeling in the end.
It's a good. It is one of those like good for all of sumo. But
bad
then,
for you.
You know, you're just like, well, the lions and the zebra, they can't all live in harmony together forever.
Very good points.
Unfortunately.
And sumo is just a bunch of lions.
It's turning into just predators all the way down.
Some pretty angry-looking predators up there.
Meisei, grow some fangs.
That's right.
Grow some teeth. Become the predator.
Do some weightlifting.
All right. So, Oho. Okay. So in our preview show, I said there's going to be one of two things. Either he's going to be a breakout hit that nobody saw coming, like he's going to go away, like do a Yusho Contention, or he's going to be double-digit wins and they're going to knock him all the way back down. I said there is no way in hell he gets a 7 and 8.
Boy, your predictable powers and the opposite are flawless.
I'm looking at Oho and I'm wondering maybe he rises to meet the level of competition that he's at.
I could see that with him. I really could.
Because lower down, it's just like he's scattershot. He doesn't seem to be focused. But this is like the rare situation that somebody's thrown into the meat grinder and they seem to like thrive in it.
And that could explain a lot. Like when he's fighting Hoshoryu, now he lost to him this time. But when he's fighting Hoshoryu, like all of a sudden he looks great. I think you might be right. He rises to the level of opponent.
So yeah, Hoshoryu does beat him, puts the pressure on Hoshoryu. Also, epic slugfest with Takakeisho.
Oh my goodness!
I think so. Oho, last time he came up here, he's super nervous. This time he goes to Takakeisho, he says, stand and deliver.
Yeah.
Takakeisho does win in the power because Takakeisho also had the timing, also had the experience.
Right, the experience has a lot to do with it.
So Oho lost in that one, but then he beats Daisho. He gets a Kimboshi. Again, say what you want about a wrecked Yokozuna. A wrecked Yokozuna does not lose to chumps.
Right, exactly. He's still only going to lose to somebody who's really putting in the effort. So yeah, this was interesting to see Oho in this element. He did surprise us in that he kind of hung in there. So there's something there, but he's just still he's still baking in the oven for sure.
Yeah. So also, I always point this out. He is 5 and 8, and then he wins out, or 4 and 8, wins out.
Yeah.
Already hit his Makakoshi. He says, "I'm only going to get stronger."
Yeah.
Now he does. He does fight Kitanawaka and Nishikigi, and again, say what we want about poor Kitanawaka, just got thrashed.
Well, the truth is, though, Oho's had situations where he's lost to all kinds of people he shouldn't lose to.
Yeah.
So if he wasn't focused and determined, those could have been losses.
Yeah, like at this point, there are some people that would have just given it up. He would have just lost out, and that would have been 6 in a row. And he's just like, oh well, it all fell apart. He
Just
digs
another
in,
Oho.
digs in. Also, then not just fighting Ura, but the crowd on Senshiraku, day 15. Look at what he's done when we turn our back and go to look somewhere else.
Yeah. Let's hope that he really builds something from this particular tournament because he won't get dropped that far. He might actually take the...
He might just slide.
Right. He might
They may leave him in place.
Right. Either is possible. And I don't want to have to guess about that. I'm going to enjoy a different way of Guess the Banzuke, I hope.
Yeah. So we always say that we want people to prove us wrong, that we want to look stupid. Thank you, Oho. This is the perfect example of we look dumb and we're so happy. I look dumb.
Yeah.
I was. You could probably dig up.
No,
the
I was cracking some jokes about him. So throw me in the camp.
He shut us up. I love it. This is the way to make us look stupid by being good.
We would like every single wrestler that if we're saying you stink, like Shodai, make us look stupid. He won't. But please, Shodai, I would root for you. I'd be like, good for you going, 13-2.
There's I think 4 days that we had Nozeki and Shodai this tournament.
Yeah, it was weird. It's like, what's going on, Shodai?
Hello. What's going on? Anyway, Oho, more of that. I am close to being your fan. Keep fighting this way.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be his fan too. I really do.
There's a weird, like, almost casual aura to him. It's sort of just like, oh, it's no big deal. But, like people how they no-sell it.
Yeah.
That, like, they're doing something crazy. They just walk away. Oh, no big deal. It's the Nishikigi energy that I like so much. There's promise in him. And there is nobody betting on him.
Yeah,
the way things are. You think we're having trouble getting people on a 10-5 Gonayama? Who's gonna put money on Oho?
Right.
He is the black sheep pick.
I might make a list when this tournament's over now of all the people who no one is rooting for, and just figure out who am I gonna root for out of that list.
Oh man. The inner hipster in me just loves this. Loves it. He's so underground.
He's totally underground.
Anyway, well done, Oho. 7-8 where he is, ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous for somebody who was almost over promoted.
He finally showed us something.
So good. Oh, it's so good. Oh, meanwhile, Takanosho 5-10, Mega Share 3 West. So definitely lost for unfortunate reasons. What's interesting though is there's this trend with a lot of these push sumo people that the push isn't there anymore, so they're doing something else. Takakeisho has this whole Sixth Sense thing going on. Takanosho, Hokutofuji, Ichi Yamamoto, they're doing belt stuff now.
Which is so weird.
So there's let's see. There's a lot of the sumo of old, the Sekiwaki Takanosho definitely fading out. Definitely the sense, the sumo sense, the sharpness, the power, that's all going away. But he goes on the belt.
Shocking me.
Kotonowaka, Hoshoryu, Asanayama, wins in a body. He beats Takerufuji on the inside. He doesn't shove him out. He grapples him out. So he was doing more interactions
than he's ever done.
Either with a body lock on the inside or on the belt. So there's a transition going on.
You wonder. I really don't know the answer to this. Him and Takekeisho are changing at the same time, and they were they were the training partners for each other. So are they having these secret meetings, and the media's not allowed in, and let's just do some throws.
This is what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
is that we're seeing Takekeisho pulling out all this crazy stuff. We're seeing Takanosho. Half of his tournament are on the belt or in the grapple. Both of these guys, they're transitioning. And they're evolving in this similar manner.
Yeah, so you gotta wonder what kind of conversations go on. I wish it wasn't such a private stable because, some guys, their training videos are available on YouTube. I would hunt it down, see if there's any Takekeisho training.
So, I feel we're not going to get the Takanosho of old. I think that one's gone. But now we've got this mystery almost.
And he is in a good place to make that transition.
Yes.
Not everybody can. I feel like he could.
Yes, he's got an opportunity. Like he's still like his ability to stick to people. He's got good footwork. He's got good focus. Like there are these fundamentals that certain other people on the like Chio Tairyu, like when he started to lose the push, like
he just couldn't. Do this other stuff.
His list of things went down. But Takanosho has this base of things to do something.
Well, it's like what you said with Takerufuji. You can't just transition into a new type of sumo without having the sense. You have to just be so keenly aware of how to win a fight. That's the only way that you can transition. And any guys who decide like, okay, I'm going to start pushing when I was a belt guy, or I'm going to start doing the belt when I was a push guy, that aren't aware, like super aware of everything, it's just going to look stupid and they're going to go back to their old ways. So I think Takanosho does have that sense as well, that if he can just practice more these belt techniques, get them into the super muscle memory, he'll know when to use them and when to do his former stuff.
There's something there. So for people who are hoping that this was a resurgence, I feel like this is very, for me, it feels definitive. It's like that Sekiwake guy from before, he's gone. He's not coming back. And that hurts a little bit. But there's something else going on. Like there's a couple other people, like Takerufuji, like you're just like, there's nowhere for you to go. But for Takanosho, like as a Takanosho fan, for fellow Takanosho fans, like there's something going on here. Maybe nothing comes out of it, but
there's such potential.
There's some weirdness going on. I think it's just crazy enough to work.
I would love to see it. I would love to see him succeed.
Yeah. The long-term plan for Takanosho. Don't let the 5 and 10 scare you. If he keeps doing it,
right? It's a tough transition.
Yeah. I mean, if he keeps doing it, then it can scare you. Yeah. But for now,
2 tournaments is a pattern.
Yes.
We always say that.
Works both ways.
That's right.
I like that. Thank you for saying that. Right. So, Tobizaru, talk about people changing.
Oh, Tobizaru.
8 and 7,
love him.
another scrape by.
He gets the Fushen against Takerufuji, which was nice.
Yes. Hey.
He probably wasn't winning that one. I don't know.
So he gets the Fushen win against Takerufuji, and then he gets the diarrhea loss against Donoyama. So they balance each other out.
That's true. That's right.
It's karma.
I can't believe he came back after only one day. Yeah. Usually those things knock you out for a while. So
I remember I was hanging out with some other friends, and I'm just like, can you imagine Meisei? He's like, oh yeah, Tobizaru, he had the runs and he was sick. You gotta fight him. Put your face right in his chest.
Yeah.
Bless Meisei, who then runs him out, and the both of them go flying off the ring. So it didn't bother Meisei. Props to Meisei.
Like,
whatever, man.
Yeah, and he probably left the tournament like, I caught it.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Meisei's a badass.
All these guys here at the end. Well, Takerufuji we had the day before. So Takehisho's probably like, damn it.
No, better not have given that to me.
That's the real reason he pulled out. It wasn't the the arm was a fake out, guys. He couldn't let anybody know.
Oh man, he broke his toilet. That's what happened. Oh no.
This is not good.
Oh, we're off the rails. This is what Tobizaru does to us. Okay,
Tobizaru does this to everyone.
So what's interesting about Tobizaru, comparing him to Takanosho when those two fought, Tobizaru was driving inside and trying to outmuscle him, while Takanosho was playing keep away and trying to slap him down.
Right.
This is what's happening to Tobizaru. He's evolving, and that now he's getting a lot more physical, a lot more inside.
Right. He used to just sort of do this like dance around grapple thing, and like he'd come at you like a cat. Now he's a lot more aggressive. Like he might grab your belt. He might come in under your armpits and like push you out. Like when somebody's a threat like this in multiple ways. Now he still does the monkey stuff. I'm not going to say he doesn't. He's still jumping around. There's a couple of when he fought Midori Fuji. The two of them are doing the monkey bit. When he fought was it Ura that the two of them? Yeah, the two of them did the super lean head against head. Yeah,
both of their hands on the mirror match thematically. So like he's still doing that stuff.
But there's less of it. There's like when he sees the opening, he's going for it versus playing a little bit more like sit
Yeah.
back and wait.
Yeah. Hoshoryu and Kirishima both forced out on the inside.
I was like, what is happening to Tobizaru?
So a lot of these people up here, you have the people who can't figure it out and they get knocked down, or they just keep ping-ponging up and down.
Yep.
Then there's these other people who are changing their game. They're like, I need to do something different. I need to find that extra gear.
Who are these coaches that are working with them? I'll say that.
There's
some minds, yeah.
There's something going on with him. There's something special.
Yep.
Now again, he's not completely departed from his tricks of old. He's still doing some divisive things.
You never really lose those tricks.
Can you imagine? Like, there was a while back he went out like that 10-5, and I called him the Monkey King because he was just absolutely weirdly dominant. Like, can you imagine one tournament he shows up, no monkey business, just pure Yotsu, inside, pushing him out, thinking he's Kotonowaka kind of Tobizaru.
That would be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious. We need this. We need to see him do this.
Both Takanosho and Tobizaru, a little bit of Oho, like, watch them. They're morphing.
Yeah.
They
have to.
Are they morphing into something useful? I don't know that, but it's a chain. These people, this time next year, who knows what's going to happen?
Tobizaru is the embodiment of the Henka.
Yeah, well, he's also the embodiment of chaos. Him,
Yes.
Ura, Midori Fuji, they're all
agents of chaos.
agents. So, but I was looking at a couple of those matches. I was like, oh,
yeah, like, wait,
what?
Is that Tobizaru? Like, you almost like, am I reading this wrong? Like, is that somebody else?
He just brute force to Ozeki? What?
What is happening?
Keep an eye out.
Hoshoryu actually just spiked his food after the loss. It was not a stomach virus. Hoshoryu got his revenge.
Some bad vegetables. Yeah, it is. Compliments of Hoshoryu.
He's like, hey, Tobizaru, I got this at the fish market. Would you like some? It was such a great win today.
Wild.
I'm just inventing insanity now.
So keep an eye on Tobizaru. Maybe he goes back to his monkey ways in May and everything.
And we just forget all about it.
But there's something going on. Something going on. He's been doing this slowly. Anyway, and well done with an 8-7 and this is like the worst top 5 place to be for people who aren't going up in a while.
He's gonna get a little bump. And we'll see what happens with that if he can elevate his.
He touched Sanyaku.
He did.
Remember, he's former Sanyaku, just very briefly, but
that's all that matters when you retire.
Speaking of future Sanyaku,
finally we get something
here
from
to
Hiromi.
9-6. So we were talking with him. We're like, maybe this will be a learning experience. I was sort of having flashbacks to when Koto Echo came up here and he's got thrashed. No,
not gonna happen.
No. Comes in, he's building, like, his power is building. He's starting to unseat people. He outmuscles Mitakeumi. Hitachi eyes so hard Mitakeumi decides today's not.
He just throws his hand up in the air like, ugh, I ain't got time for this. I'm just going out.
So him and Tobizaru have a marathon fight. They left it all in the ring. Props to Tobizaru. He didn't give Hiroumi an inch. Hiroumi had to claw him across the ring.
It just didn't work out.
Wild power.
Yeah.
And also beats an Ozeki. Say what you want about Kirishima.
Yeah, you still got to, even if he's not in the best state, you still have to win.
You still got to give him the props. He also beats Gonoyama, by the way, with speed.
Yeah.
And he's working on the defenses. It's not there yet. 4 of his losses were getting completely blown out of the water. 4 of his 6 were people saying you're going.
And the truth is, you learn a lot more from a loss than a win. That really is true. That's not just some saying. He's going to go back and think, like, what went wrong in there? What could I do to not get thrown out like that? Was it can I bulk up here? Can I do this with my defense? What was my footwork like?
Exactly.
Or can I try something different with this particular guy next time? Just every tournament is another opportunity for him to grow.
And now he knows. It's like, I got a 9-6, so this stuff works.
Works, exactly.
Keep doing this, and now this is what I got to work on.
He really needed a confidence boost because he was
This
trying so many things prior to this, and the record was not in his favor. So, yes, he could really build on this.
This is absolutely it. So, This is more of a very personal story which has no significance. So I'm going to tell you guys.
Yeah, why not?
So he comes in the first week. He's got like a black eye, like a shiner or something like that. And this is like a mental flashback for me. One of the first times I saw Shohozan, he had a black eye, like 6-7 years ago when I started watching. And it was this weird like connection to old, because I remember I like Shohozan because he was scrappy and he like, oh, it's this
and
guy.
He had that mean face.
He had a mean face, and I'm just like, this guy just came out of a bar. He's like a pirate.
Yeah.
And so that was like one of the first people I ever latched onto when I was watching Sumo. Like when you're watching Sumo, like it helps to be like, I like this guy. I like this guy.
They have to have something that stands out to you.
So I saw that from Hiro to Umi. It was like a callback to my younger self. I'm just like, here we go. Here's a personality.
And that's funny. The Shohozan was like in
and
the
booth. And then Shohozan shows up later in that tournament. I'm like, ow, I was just talking about you.
You're making me miss him so much, just so you know.
Bit.
He really was like him and Shionokuni fighting.
Shionokuni.
I lived for that match.
The Berserker Yoshikaze.
Yeah, Yoshikaze. And I mean, there were such brutal, violent matches back in the day in the best way.
Yeah.
Like the slap fest, like we're like in a fist fight, not in a sumo match. All those guys are gone now.
Oh yeah, I was nostalgic.
My heart.
Yeah, it tells us how long we've been in here.
Yeah, we can actually like talk about the old days.
We got legacy a little bit.
That's cool.
Not big legacy, but anyway, well done, Hiro to Umi. Well done, Midori Fuji. he gets a 7 and 8. I thought he did worse, but. Like he
pulled it off.
He it fell apart on him at the end, which I would say
was of course going to happen when you do the same move over and over again.
Yes, but 3 Kataskashi in a row. He tries it against Kirishima. Excuse me. Kirishima blocks it, but he just beats Kirishima another way.
Yeah.
So this 4-win streak is like the most Midori Fuji stuff. And
I couldn't believe that it worked on Shodai. I'm like, Shodai, dude, you really are the dumps.
Yeah. There is a little bit of a hot and cold. Like it feels like some days Midori Fuji, like he can't get it together. He's trying. He is in it every day.
But there are days where like he just can't.
It's sometimes it's too cold out and the engine doesn't start.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, he gets that. Like he was fighting, when he's fighting Sada no Umi. On the last day for both of them 7 and 7, fighting for all the marbles, and Sada no Umi digs deeper. Sada no Umi is more aggressive.
Right, and you know sometimes you just gotta take your lumps because he's a veteran.
Yeah,
he wants to win. He's got everything he needs to he can endure whatever you've got.
Yeah, and
that's the kind of match Sada no Umi wins.
Yes, Sada no Umi also doing really well until it almost fell apart for him, but. Midori Fuji was a lot of fun.
Oh, he was. He brought some of that Tobizaru energy that we really like.
Yes. All 3 of them were exceptional. So the 7 and 8, he's not really going that far. There is a little bit of needing to figure out how does he stop getting blasted around. Most of his losses were people just like, you're going to move.
Right. He's just so small. You know, it's like it's the Enho thing. He's not that much larger than Enho. He's a pretty small dude. He's on the razor edge of if he gets caught, he's done. The match is over.
He does.
So you're right. He has to find a way either to endure that or just don't get hit. You've got to move out of the way.
He is working on enduring it. There are some defenses like he takes hits that are crazy, and you're like, how are you still fighting? And then he still fights, and like
he can get down to like his knee and not touch the ground.
Yeah, so I mean, he's definitely got that going for him, but it seems that it can only get him so far.
Right, it's small man sumo.
Small man sumo. So,
to some degree, there's not a total lot he can do about it.
Well, at least we got that 3 Kataskashi in a row, and again against Shoryu.
You have to be
Shodai Kirishima.
I mean, they know it's coming, and he still lands it, which means he's got to be so skilled.
He's so fast.
That's what it is. It's like, you know he's going to do it, and you still get caught. So it's really a testament to him.
Yeah. They did a Sumo Primetime did a piece on Kataskashi.
Yes.
Where Hiro talks about the Kimarite, and they make mention that it's a multi-step technique.
Right.
Because you need to be in multiple stances to land it.
Yep.
And so it's harder to do than other types of kimurite.
And you have to do it really fast because a sumo match is extremely fast.
So I was watching all that, and I'm like, man, Midori Fuji's even more impressive knowing that you have the people who are teaching this. They're just like, this isn't really easy to do.
Yeah, and this guy's going to just pull it off 3 times in a row.
Against an Ozeki.
Yeah, exactly.
And former Ozeki. But well done, Midori Fuji. So, next up.
The man.
Ono Sato. 11-4. We don't know where his ceiling is.
No, we're just really discovering what he's capable of.
Yeah. So he was where Takerufuji was last tournament, all the way down. First tournament here. They throw him all the way up. He is super nervous. In this tournament, he definitely didn't feel that nervous.
No,
a little bit of nerves, a little bit of getting caught out because they couldn't quite figure out what to do, but he gets promoted to Megashira 5 and he almost wins the Yusho.
Yeah, he doesn't look nervous
No.
in general. It's some of these top guys get nervous when things get tight. He was like an experienced guy when he gets nervous.
It is funny because his interviews, he's always just like, oh man, I can't believe I'm here. And then you see him fight and it's just like, I can believe you're here.
Yeah, I mean, you're a huge, massive guy. Really, all he has to do in a lot of his fights is just move forward.
Yeah. Well, the thing is he finds ways to move forward.
Right, exactly. It's not always easy to do that.
There's a smothering. Like he's not just power. He will get inside. He will control his opponent. He will block out exits. People can't get away. Now people can sort of knock him off balance.
Right, which happened to him.
Yeah, so he loses to 2 Ozeki. He loses to the guy who wins the Yusho. And then he loses to Onosho, who's having a very weird hot and cold. And there are some versions of Onosho that were like almost Sanyaku itself.
Right, but that's, when Onosho is on, that's what you get.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
So Onosato, looking fantastic, gets the fighting spirit and technique prizes.
Excellent stuff.
So even with everything else going on, being recognized for being a complete badass, which he is, and
just rising at a time when we've had a lot of disappointment.
Yeah. So he's part of this new guard. It's him and Tommy Fuji and Takerufuji and Gonoyama and Hoshoryu and
now Kakeru is going to put his hat in the ring as a Oyakata. It's unfortunate that we may not get to see Hakuho compete in all of this, but Onosato is Kisana Sato's prodigy.
Yeah,
is he? No, wait. Yes, he is.
Yes.
Gonoyama is Goeido's.
Yes. The whole Miyagino thing, I think news is going to come out Thursday about what they're going to do.
Ugh.
So
I was wanting to forget about that.
I don't know much. I'd say probably whatever news articles online are going to be more accurate than I am.
Right.
But
something's coming.
It'll be later this week. It'll be after you hear this or after this is aired.
Okay. I want to just see
but
Hakuho, Kakeru, Kisano Sato, Goeido, all their prospects go up against each other and see who's the best.
I think that's still going to happen, but we'll let
it'll just be a little.
We'll let things play out. Yeah. We got into it in the preview show, and there's going to be more to talk about it later. But for now, the future may still be there. But in any case, Onosato's future is definitely shining bright.
Very excited.
So, oof.
Maybe no future.
Maybe no future for Tsurugisho 2, 3, and 10.
Poor guy.
My poor baby child. Oh man, that crumple on that knee.
Oh,
that was
horrific.
Like that knee checked out.
I don't think we see him again.
That might be it.
I
don't know. Like
how you come back from that at his age and his condition.
So, if nothing else, he's got guaranteed to be in the top division in May. I don't think we're going to see him in May.
Yeah.
Maybe he comes back with like a mummified knee. And
If anybody would, it would be him.
Yeah. And they're just like, oh, he doesn't actually have a knee anymore.
They put in a bionic leg.
They just took some rebars and they just put it on him, and he's just gonna fight anyway. Possible.
Only with him.
I do. I'll be clenching my teeth and holding my breath for him. We might have seen the end of him.
So sad.
But we did see the brief time that we did see him some good strongman sumo when he fought Kim Bozan. He picked Kim Bozan, huge guy. He picks him up. He pivots him around
on a toe.
On a toe. Sort of like, when there's when you're handing, like when you're at family dinner and somebody asks you for the mashed potatoes, and so you reach to your left, you grab the bowl, and you just carry it over to your right.
Yep.
He did that with a man who was 300 something pounds and was resisting it.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
It's amazing how strong the man is.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And then in any case, I'm glad for what we've gotten.
It was nice.
It was a beautiful thing. It may be we're not done, but unfortunately for him,
seems a bit optimistic.
Well, we'll see. Tsurugisho, bless you. I hope you recover. I hope the knee's okay.
Thanks for the good time.
Hope you got extra ice cream in the hospital.
There you go.
There it is. All right. So Gonoyama, the prodigy everybody forgets, and like we were saying,
once again, like
he's a 10-5. He is 2 away from being Yusho contention.
Yeah, he's just got to tighten up in a few spots.
Yeah, and it's this shaky start. Imagine
if he beat Ken Bozan, it's a totally different story.
Beatable fight, right? Hirada Umi. Beatable fight. And then he fights Takerufuji on the last day. He fights Hoshoryu. He fights Onosato. So those are just fellow killers.
Right, and those are guys that he's going to come up with, and they're all going to make each other stronger.
Yeah.
So he'll be able to beat them at some point.
He is so close. And there's a lot of issues with consistency.
Yeah.
That are being improved with that 10-5.
Right. He needs the time to just go through it. Go through the motions, learn your stuff, get stronger. He'll be there.
At Mega Series 6, he was just low enough so that he didn't get Murderer's Row. Maybe that helps. That's the thing that we will.
True.
That will be the decider in May.
Yes.
But when you get double-digit wins this high up, it means the only thing that's going to keep you down are the very, very top.
Exactly.
Very strong.
Until you're able to be at the top.
Which will happen.
Which we know he will be able to.
People were scared of him the second he showed up.
The very second he showed up.
And
Takerufuji was nervous about it.
Yeah. So, and we had mentioned that maybe that was the X factor for Takerufuji.
Yeah.
Which I still think it's going to be a crazy, crazy May.
Well, I want to see Gonoyama get stronger because him against Takerufuji could be like an epic explosion if both are, putting out the same power.
Yeah.
I think by the end of this tournament, Gonoyama was looking a little tired. I think the endurance is not there yet for him because he's doing push sumo. Yeah. That's a rough deal for 15 days when you're brand new.
Something to keep in mind, the X factor for Gonoyama is that he doesn't always need to.
No, he doesn't.
On Takeyasu had a really, really good tournament, by the way. He beats him. He times Takeyasu. Takeyasu, eyes like a hawk. He outmatches him that way. On Onosho, who is blasting people out left and right, he gets him in a body lock.
Just totally smothers that.
Yeah. And he out Shodai. Like when Shodai is on, he goes forward, he wraps you up and then he just dumps you out. He did that to Shodai. So he's not just all push sumo. Like this is what we were saying with Takanosho and Tobizawa and all the people who are evolving their game. Like he's already evolved the game. It's just refinement for him.
Right. He's just got to work on the little tiny things and his score changes dramatically.
So he's going to be in the mix along with all these other people. We're going to have 4, 5, 6 of these guys all button heads.
Yep. And that's the future right here. You're looking at it right here in this center section.
And in May, they're all going to be fighting for the same 4 Sanyaku slots.
And May is a good tournament. Like, it's a tournament for whoever is the best of the best can show up, and there's a lot less weird stuff.
There's a lot of hope going into May. May's gonna be
awesome.
Oh my goodness, guys!
It better be, okay? I'm knocking on wood.
May's the tournament arc, guys. You just gotta hold on.
I love the May tournament. I have no idea why, but I just love it. The weather is just right. It's not weird, and magical things happen in May.
Guys,
I'm telling you,
we are getting set up for it.
We are.
And Gonoyama is going to be in a position to either be the spark or be somebody else's stepping stone. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
10-5, still good. All right, so Kim Bozan, I'm almost angry at this injury because
he was so close.
So 6-7-2. He has a 3-loss handicap.
Yeah.
That is a 9-6 turning it around, and I'd give him 2 of those matches off. I'd give him the 8-7 just on the quality of those other matches.
Yeah.
He was fighting so well. Oh, so many of the things were like, oh, he just fixes this one thing, he'll be there.
What was the actual injury?
He got Tamawashi shoves him out of the ring, and then he hits like he aggravates his neck.
On the tape in the neck.
Yeah, and so then the rest of the tournament, his neck is all taped up, and it clearly was affecting him. But he still 5 of his 6 wins were when he came back. He came back with a vengeance. He was actually having a little trouble here in the beginning.
Right, it almost helped him.
Yeah. So he's still working on his defenses. If you find the right angle on him, then he doesn't know what to do with it.
Right.
You can sort of get on your bike. So he still is working on that. But the thing is that if you don't find the right angle, if you can't find the leverage on him, he doesn't move.
Right.
And then once your momentum slips away, he doesn't give it back. And it was all power. And then another guy. I'm picking on Kirishima. He's still in Ozeki, guys.
Right.
He's still in Ozeki, and he just outmuscled him.
If this guy was a total pushover, Kirishima gets it in his sleep, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. An earlier Kimbozan, like when Kimbozan shows up in the top division,
loses that match.
Kirishima could have an arm tied behind his back.
And he's not going to flick him out with a
flick
little
him
finger.
out. So Kimbozan, so much progress, but the neck thing just messed with him. Unfortunate, but I'm feeling like he's getting there.
Yeah, he's doing the slow build like Hoshoryu did. He's still not been in the top division that long.
Yeah,
you forget that sometimes, you know. It's
relatively early, not as well.
Not as fresh as the fresh faces, but
we can't all be breaking 114-year records.
Yeah. My goodness.
What a beast.
What a beast.
Let's talk about the man who gave him that injury, Tamawashi. 7-8.
You know, Tamawashi's hurt a lot of guys in his career. Just gonna say.
I don't know what to make of this one because he gave Asaniyama the ankle injury in January. He gave Kimbozan the back injury in March.
He ended Chiyonokuni. I think it was his elbow that he knocked out for him. There's been others in this storied career of Mr. Almost 40, Immortal One. There's a viciousness to his sumo that it seems understated, right? Like Tamawashi, big friendly guy, push sumo guy. Nodowa is pretty intense, right? But just right at the edge, there's always something.
It's like the portrait of Dorian Gray that he's giving his injuries away to other people so he doesn't get them.
That must be what's going on. That makes perfect sense.
He injures others so that he himself is not injured.
He's like, I'm immortal again. Yeah, that explains everything. I'm glad you figured it out.
So he is starting to get overpowered. He's finally showing his age, at least in terms of his push sumo.
Right. He can't do the Nodowa of old.
He did do the Nodowa against Hirada Umi and Koto Shoho, which are people that are either too small or not really able to deal with it yet.
Right. He's like, let me just do it to the
There is also a I'm just going to do this to you and I'm going to see what you do about it. And the 7 and 8 shows that, he's still in the mix. He's still doing pretty good. X factor for Tamawashi. He has his Japanese citizenship.
Interesting.
So, sort of like Kakuryu is one of those things that he's been working on in the background for years.
Right, so now you wonder, now that it's here, do we get the Can he just sail off into retirement any second that he wants?
Yeah. Maybe. So we thought that about Aoyama, but Aoyama is
still fighting.
He still fights 7 and 8 in Juryo.
Isn't he? Is he about to drop out yet?
Not yet.
Okay, he's got a little time.
I thought the way he got injured.
Well, some guys they just can't give it up. They love it too much.
Yeah. So Aoyama also has the citizenship. He's in the
Yes.
same boat.
Yes.
We were saying the same things. That were like, oh, now he's got the citizenship. He's sort of getting up in there in years. He's super injured, but Aoyama's just like, I like this too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep doing it.
Maybe the Japanese citizenship. Maybe
It's just the insurance.
Maybe it'll motivate him.
Yeah,
Maybe he's just like, I got it now. Now I'll be fighting for my home.
that's right.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know where that goes. But I do know what happens to people who don't respect his power and they go out of the ring.
Yeah, don't be a new guy fighting Tamawachi. It's not gonna go too well for you.
No, yeah. So he's scrapping it up. Veteran power, textbook stuff. See who he injures in May.
Yeah, we should keep a tally at this point.
I don't want to keep that.
I know you're like, I don't want to know.
Can I veto that one?
I might not be able to like you anymore if I find out you
rough.
injure at least 2 guys a tournament or something.
So, Onosho, the 9 and 6 that almost felt like it was going to be something crazy. So he starts out 5 and 2, and Onosho's starting to get this swagger to him.
Oh yeah,
This power, it's getting to the point people can't deal with it anymore.
right. They're like, this guy again.
And there's a persistence, there's a focus on some days.
Yeah,
And then, where was it? Yeah, these losses here, these 4 losses, some of the stuff was just like bad footwork,
which is
bad tachi eyes.
which is like a persistent thing for him.
Well, it's so weird because a lot of what was making him win so well was like, I fixed it, guys.
Right.
I'm just running people out. Like I had said, he beats Onosato on power, on focus, and then there's a couple of losses down here that it's sort of like he loses the focus.
Well, I think to some degree that is the curse of pushing and thrusting. You have got to be so on because your match really is all dependent on hitting the tachi perfectly, power-wise, position-wise. Your footwork has to be perfect. So if you're having like an off moment and it just doesn't happen, it's almost like being a field goal kicker.
Yeah.
That's how I look at push thrusting sumo. That tachi has to be so perfect. If you just go a little bit to the left, it's done and your power's cut in half. So I think for Onosho, he just lives and dies by that push sumo so much that he can't have an off day.
Do you think that seeing that when it's on, it's working more is the good sign? Or do you think that you would rather him be more consistent?
It's one of those things where if he could just nail it down most of the time, that would be the way to win. If you know what I mean? It's better to be the guy who is just really good at blasting you out than being the consistent middleman. Like to have something that's a little extra special. But if you can't do it enough, you'll be Onosho, where you're constantly pinballing back and forth between a 9 and 6 and the 3 and 12.
These last few tournaments, like the level of power has become significantly
right.
higher.
So he's strengthening it so much.
It's like he's doubling down on it,
which I think is a good thing. I really do.
This is where I'm sort of looking at him like this is a different equation for him than we're dealing with.
Well, look at Gonoyama, right? So we know that Gonoyama has all this belt technique. The reason he's not doing it for the most part is because Goeido said to him, I do not want you to do it. I want you to just work on your pushing and thrusting. The reason behind that is you want to be really, really, really good and special at that one thing. So when you have to use the other things, it's a surprise and it's more likely to win. You're more likely to win or it's more likely to work. So for Onosho, he's really doubled down and he's doing the power. But he's got to have something in case it goes wrong.
There is...
I'm not saying it's belt work, but there's...
He is doing some like wrap-up transitions. So like against Onosato, he
that's
does
true.
get the
That's
wrap-up.
true.
Against Mitakayumi, He gets Mitakayumi mostly near the edge. Mitakayumi holds mostly token effort, but enough to stop. Props to Mitakayumi, enough to stop this menace from getting all the way out. Onosho gets inside and grapples him out.
Right.
So
that might be the way for him going forward.
A little bit.
I think there's a lot of things, like if you can't do the belt, if that's not the thing, like Takerufuji, like armbar, kimi dashi, or go under the arms and just push out that way.
With the umpits.
These are the things, you don't have to be a belt tactician to like pull something off.
It's weird because it's one of those things, like for him, like it looks like all of the pieces are there, and then
but it just doesn't quite fit.
It's like you look at the pieces, just like all the pieces in the box. I have 1,000 pieces of this jigsaw puzzle. They all look like they should make the puzzle on the front of what?
But they don't.
They don't.
This one piece, like it's just not.
It's weird.
It's like 3 sides match and the 4th side doesn't. Yeah.
I feel like it means we're moving
in the right direction.
Maybe, but then he slips and falls and like these kinds of things that we've been making fun of him for forever.
Well, the truth is, in general, martial arts are just so highly skilled, highly technical, and your focus can never leave you. So if Onosho, you got to look at the individual. If he just simply cannot focus enough, that's the reason he's where he is. Some
maybe
guys.
Maybe it's that. Maybe it's just that.
Yeah, some guys, it's like, if only you could just, but they never just.
They never just.
Because their mind just doesn't do it.
Add him to the list of people that there's something morphing.
Yeah.
There's some evolution going on, and he's historically had a ceiling of like the top 5.
Yeah.
Which he'll be in or near in May.
And now he's put together 2 good tournaments. We were questioning before it even started, like, can he do it? Can he put 3 together?
Let's see.
That's where you have to start.
It's becoming a big question mark.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And good to say he's smoking. I
love it.
I love a good blast out now. Because Takakeisho is not doing anything.
I was going to say.
I'm looking
for some nostalgia here. I want to see somebody go into orbit. Thank you, Onosho, for giving me what I can't have anymore with Takakeisho.
Also because like Onosato is very smothering. He doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't blast out. No,
it's just they're just crushed out, and Takerufuji does some of that.
Well, yeah, I mean he was blasting some.
He was blasting people. So there's some.
But
of
that's not always the way he wants. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
He gets you on that Tachi-eye and you're just
he gets
done.
you on the Tachi-eye and then like the thing is like he hits you so hard on the Tachi-eye he just has to like escort you out.
Exactly.
He doesn't even need much after that.
Right, so you don't get the blast out because you just get the sense knocked out of you in the middle of the ring and then it's like, oh, let me just help you over there.
So Onosho is our Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, hope. He is.
You get the wind up on the guy 300%.
And you gotta love the red.
Yes.
I just
the red
don't ever change.
Well, we're keeping tabs. Meanwhile, talking about red power.
What a crazy thing! Like he's 11-4, and it didn't feel
runner up.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it because of all the craziness going on. He just quietly put this together.
Because he got his 4 losses on day 11.
Like scattered, yeah.
So here's the thing. I mean, say what you want about Takayasu's brilliant performance, and we will. How is he doing the last 5 days? 4-1.
Yep.
For me, this is more important because this is always when he fades.
You know what's killing me though? If he just beats Shodai Takayumi, he's 13-2, and you know he could beat those two.
These 2 guys had a weird energy, but to see Takayasu first go the full 15, looking pretty solid. And then the final, like he always fades out.
Yeah.
And recently, so they gave him Dayamami and Roga and Midori Fuji. So maybe a little bit of help.
Yeah.
But you think Midori Fuji wouldn't Katasugashi him if they couldn't try?
Right.
Probably did. I don't remember.
Roga's kind of getting there.
Dayamami. This was Dayamami was 7-7 right here. That was wild.
Right. So this was like everything on the line.
All or nothing. So it looks like a sort of a return to form and quietly this was the way he wins the U show. It's almost a blueprint.
I know. Could this be possibly a hint? We'll never pick him again, but I'm never giving up on it until he retires.
I'm equal parts like really happy and really upset about this because like I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, he can last the whole day. Those crucial 5 days at the end, he can consistent enough. That's where his back goes. 11-4, Yusho runner up, looking really good, right? And in the back of my mind, I'm like, what if this was the moment?
I know.
And then this child prodigy out of nowhere comes and takes it away.
Could have sat on the couch to get it. That would have been funny, like if they had a camera on him, like sitting on a couch with the TV, just chilling. Oh, cool! I won. All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, Takayasu, will you continue to break our heart?
This was like a callback to the Takayasu of old, though.
It was.
This was so good to watch. He was consistent. It was the smothering power, like also like that intensity, the way his body emits power.
Right, and he is like the quintessential like sumo. Like
yes,
you just look at him, you're like, that's a sumo wrestler. You know, you want to see that guy do good.
So maybe this is what he does to succeed.
He is fairly low down, so he should, we'll put it this way, he should do this well. Let's just hope that when he gets the push up.
I'm a little squirmy over here. I'm upset. I'm worried. I get
all of his opportunities are just squandered.
I don't know anymore. I'm second guessing.
Because everybody's getting so good. Like he had those slow walks, man. Those times when he could have had it. Like he's running out of room to do it because these young guys are not gonna just let this go.
What are you gonna do against Onosato? Oh no!
I know. You're gonna have to really like outfox all of them, which he could do.
He's got his puncher's chance against anybody.
He does. He really does. But will he?
This hurts me sometimes more than anything.
We've watched sumo long enough now to see the fade of some of our favorites. That's the pain of experience.
Let's talk about that right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at all those black dots, man.
Oh, just stake in my heart, Takerufuji. 6-9, but look at this 4 out of 5.
Yeah, he's starting to put something together.
He shook it off. He figured out how to work around the injuries he's clearly dealing with, and he rallied back. Like this right here, when he was 1-7, I'm like,
right? How did he pull off a 6-9 in the end?
Call the morgue. But then this second week, he's just like, I'm done with this.
He got the extra good cortisone shot.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, this is textbook, like we were saying. If you're a push sumo guy and you can't do push sumo, and you don't, like he was doing some belt stuff. Him and Ichi Yamamoto had one of the weirdest belt fights.
I know. It's like here's two guys who don't fight on the belt.
You know, this is not as extreme. Like like whenever the Olympics are on, it's always the same thing that you're like, let's get some schmuck out of the stands with no training to do the 100-yard dash so that we have a point of comparison we can understand.
Right, exactly.
It sort of had that feeling when they were both on the belt. You're just like, I guess this is what happens when you do belt sumo and you don't know belt sumo.
Right, and they're both kind of like, do I turn this way or?
Though, to both of their credit, they're all doing this belt stuff. Ichi Yamamoto reached for the belt a few times. Takerufuji got multiple wins off the belt.
Is there some like motivational coach who's like going around to each stable saying, "Guys, I know what you need."
It feels like there's like
here's my pamphlet.
It feels like there's some sort of a Yotsu salesman going around here. But yeah, like all those 6 wins, it was just grit. It was refusal to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But those, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna have them, Mariam.
I know. I'm in the same boat, man.
I'm losing my guys.
Like, we are at some point going to lose all our guys and really have to put all our hopes in these new guys.
Got a new guy.
You new guys better do it.
We're getting there, though. But yeah, Takerufuji is... he's still way too high to worry about falling out.
But it's starting to feel very ikiyoi.
A little bit.
Like,
just a little bit.
Injuries everywhere.
No.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So, Takerufuji, I'll never stop loving you, but I may stop seeing you if you keep fighting like this.
Right, pretty much. We're going to have to start watching Juryo at this point.
He might make me do it, I'll be honest.
Right?
I almost did for Aoyama, but
He's pretty far down there.
yeah, he's also Aoyama was just a shade of himself.
Yeah, it's sometimes too painful to watch.
You don't want to watch them get dragged behind the shed and shot.
Yeah, it's kind of like, seeing your favorite superhero become an old man and what are you doing out there?
Shimano Umi's still in Juryo. I can't watch those.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not a good feeling.
I still love you, man, but I can't.
You're gonna have to start you got to pick your new young guy that this is the guy I'm gonna
Probably
root
Hiro
for.
to Umi at this rate.
Yeah, I can tell that's where you're headed.
My heart's going there. I don't have a say in this.
No, of course.
I don't I'm just like it should be Onosato. I feel like that would be the call.
Well, something has to. Each one of these guys has to do something. There has to be a match where you're like, that was so awesome and so up my alley that's why you're my favorite now. Hokuto Fuji was always just such a brawler, throw everything on the line, bleeding every other day. There's just so much. He bled, yeah.
I saw somewhere or read somewhere. It's just how much more will Hokuto Fuji bleed anymore? And then the response was clearly not enough.
That says his career in a nutshell.
Anyway, another person who may be left behind unless he gets it together. Hoto Shoho 8-7 gets it on the last day. Gets it with the Amiyuchu, the fisherman's throw,
which was pretty awesome.
Wild. So he still that told me this match right here, he wants to win. He wants this to work. And that had been
what was lacking a little bit was just giving up way too soon.
This resurgence of him is very much I don't know what I am or what I'm doing, but I want this.
Right, exactly.
That's what that 8-7 tells me as well. So I will say that he did a couple of what we'll call sidesteps for two of his wins, and we'll just,
At least they weren't blatant.
Some of them are interesting.
Yeah, I guess when you're this low down, it's kind of...
I do love Goose's Roger Rabbit take.
Yes!
Oh my god.
That's probably my favorite take, considering how much we've discussed Hanka and this freaking topic. To just say that Hankos are always acceptable when they're funny.
When they're funny.
I think I can follow that rule.
I feel like it's here's the thing about it. It's easy to look at it and decide whether or not it was appropriate.
Exactly.
That has always been the thing about Henkas.
We couldn't decide what was the thing that makes it appropriate. If you use the criteria of it's funny, that's easy.
It's easy. You're did you laugh? Did you look incredulously at the monitor? Did he just do that?
Right. And what's funny is the Takerufuji thing came up and he's like, admit it. There was nothing funny about that, Hank. And I'm like, you're right.
Yeah.
If I just use this criteria, it makes it very simple.
That's the thing. When Takerufuji Henka's Hokuto Fuji, and it was crazy, and then Wakataka Kage Henka's him back, it was funny the next day.
Everybody laughed. Everybody had a good time, and that's what made it go away because it was funny. So, really, that's it. I'm going to steal that from Goose.
Shout out.
I'm using it from now on, and I don't hear nothing from nobody. Yeah. We have discussed it enough. I will now use that criteria, and if you don't think it's funny, well, whatever.
Yeah. So, for Koto Shoujo, his Henkas were weird. I don't know if they were funny, but they weren't not funny. I'll say that.
Yeah, they were just weird.
We're going to move on. We're going to move on. What we're going to say instead is that he had 6 of his 8 wins were in the second week, which is similar to Hokuto Fuji. Both of these guys are they course corrected in the middle. They figured out, they dug deep.
They showed that they want more than what they had.
Yeah, he didn't have a crazy fighting people out of his breadth thing, so I feel like this is sort of a spread of relatively even.
Yeah.
So which tells me in the second week it was more him saying I'm gonna get this going.
I'm feeling a little comfortable.
Feeling more comfortable. He decided he needed to get it done, and he got it done. So, we're still looking for that watershed moment with him. I feel like there's that, and we've had flashes of it. It's sort of the little previews of ooh, something's going good here.
Yeah.
And last tournament, he started swinging high, and we're like, ooh.
Right, finally he doesn't look like he's fighting from behind. With a handicap from the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah. X factor for him. Koto Tebakari. Probably not promoted to Juryo this tournament, but he's going to be very close.
Could make things much more interesting.
And I say X Factor because there's always that like actual brother synergy. Maybe it's jealousy.
Right. It could be, I want to outdo you. It could be, hey, let's be together. Either way, anything that motivates you is a good thing.
We'll see. Maybe he just needs a kick in the seat from his bro.
Maybe his brother would come and surpass him, and he'd be like, no.
I've been there. I feel we've all been there at some point.
Of course. It really does fuel you.
Yeah, it does. Can't do this stuff alone sometimes. Now, he does also have an Ozeki in the stable.
Yes, that's true. And he gets to train with him, and he doesn't have to fight him. So he's got one of the advantages that many of these guys do not have.
Still figuring it out. We'll put a pin in this.
He's a slow builder.
I feel there's a little bit more optimism than there was in the past, but I don't know what's there yet.
Right. I still haven't seen anything that makes me say he's arrived. It's just he isn't faltering. We'll give him that.
Yeah. So,
I just say I can't comprehend Shodai and Mitakayumi. We're talking about Meisei 6 and 9 not being fair. I almost feel like the 8 and 7 and 9 and 6 don't make any sense. I expect to see 6 and 9 for both of them because in the matches that they lost, they looked horrible. Absolutely horrible. And here Mitakayumi, if you look at his record, looks stellar. And Shodai's like, oh, not a bad tournament. It's like, what is going on with these two?
Compare Mitakayumi's 9 and 6 to Meisei's 6 and 9.
Exactly. You really feel like they should be swapped. When Mitakayumi loses a match, I just finally noticed it. He's at the edge. He throws his hand up in the air like, really? What is that, dude? It's a literal physical sign of giving up. No one should see that.
My favorite thing about Shodai and Mitakayumi is that they're becoming incomprehensible in completely their own way.
Yeah. So, like, they're comparable, but in a way that they're not comparable.
Well, they're both... I like how we're talking about both of them together because they really are like they are the two miscreants that are just like they're the kids in the back of the class that they're just having fun and just like.
But you're so smart.
Yeah. They're just like they get straight A's in all the tests, but then they just screw around and they put bubble gum on the bottom of the chairs.
Right, and like, the chair just went through the window and Shodai is like walking out. You know, like what is going on here?
So for Shodai specifically, 8 and 7. So he gets it on the last day. Props to him. He gets Nishikifuji, who's having a pretty good time of it, and he starts out 3 and 1. And
so you think maybe?
Yeah. Also, like we said, beats Takayasu, and we're like, oh, so for him specifically, I'm like, he did fight low enough to get a free special prize, and then he just starts doing random stuff.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Like all of a sudden, it's like, what are you doing? Get your head in the game, dude.
Like there were the flashes of brilliance. Like I think we'd said this before. Like Shodai, sometimes he shows up, he's like, I think I'll do sumo today.
Yeah,
and it's like Ozeki level. The throw against Sada Naomi, I think, was the most impressive thing that he did the entire tournament. So Sada Naomi having a great time of it despite the record, and so they get up in a grapple. Sada Naomi's trying to dictate pace. One of the few times in the tournament he defends well. He's no, I'm not doing this. He goes to throw Sada Naomi to the right. Sada Naomi blocks. And then Shodai's just like, I'm just going to do it the other way. And he dumps him. And he throws him down so hard that then Shodai himself falls over from being off balance. He threw this guy like with a vendetta.
It's almost like the Lemmy from Of Mice and Men. Like it's like he doesn't know his own strength.
A little bit.
It's like, Shodai, you should know by now what's going on. But
yeah,
the apparent lack of awareness in the ring is staggering.
It's wild. So he is just doing whatever he wants, and then he gets a Kachikoshi for it, which is even more baffling.
Right. He gets rewarded for just being like, some days I show up, some days I don't.
So we will. I have no notes for how to make sense of him for now. So
like maybe it's okay because it's funny.
We're getting to the point that he's sort of just a wild factor.
Yeah, it writes itself.
But I also despise matches in the Gesta Banzuke with either of them. The two of them,
Yeah,
the two
I
of them,
agree.
there was
When
a
they
day
fight each other.
They fought each other, and it showed up on the ISP. I'm like, guys, I'm just
That's why I did the worst I have ever done in my life. I was like 2-13. Okay, the reason is matches like Shodai versus me Takayumi. I'm like, you guys are intentionally screwing with us because no one can know who's gonna win that match. No clue.
You flip a coin.
Exactly.
I think flipping a coin would be better than trying to figure
It's like
it out.
a true false test, okay? Shodai will show up today, true or false.
Oh, God. Takayumi shows up today, true or false. And then they both show up. It's like one of the best fights ever. It didn't happen this time, but...
Right.
Anyway.
What a nightmare.
Yeah. So, if Shodai were to show up more days than not, he may actually get his stuff together.
Right.
The way... The days that he's on, that he's Ozeki level, and it's like the flashes of old, you're like, oh, damn, he's still got it.
Right.
But does he always have it?
Well, I think some days he's on the farm, you know, and
Some
maybe he
days.
gets up a little too early to tend the farm, and he's like, oops, I got to go to Sumo today.
I feel like he's in the middle of things sometimes.
Yeah, he's like, guys, can we hurry up this match? Like, I got a tea time, you know?
Anyway, I guess well done, Shodai. Kachikoshi is more wins than loss. Something's going right.
Right.
Who knows what? So, from Takayumi, I felt, I don't know if I curse it or if I just know this too well, but what was right, it was right here. He was 6-2. He was on the Yusho board, and we were talking to each other like, is this gonna be another March that he runs away with it? And I went to you and I says, if he's able to stick to the 2 losses, he'll be 13-2, and then if he loses again, he'll fade away and he'll be 9-6.
And you totally called it. I'm like, wow. You're like, you know me, Takayumi, at this point.
Well, there is a
Formula?
Like well, you had touched on it when you talked about when he threw his hands up.
Yeah.
And like, if things are going the way he thinks they should be, like there's a feedback loop, a positive. Yeah. He digs deeper, he tries harder, because he likes it when it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And he'll escort you out gently.
Yes.
And if you fall, he's like helping you up.
Oh, the sportsmanship is always there for him.
Right, but like when it's off, the hands are flying. Yeah. He's got the face on. He's just like slowly walking to the Shikiri Sen for the bow. Like, you will wait for me. Yeah. There's just, you can see it. He does not hide a thing. Yeah. He's got diva energy, okay?
There's a little bit of that. I think that may be the missing factor for him.
Maybe.
There's a little bit, like there is a feeling of, I should have won that. Why I lost it, but I shouldn't have.
It's the case of, I think this is a man who's just too naturally talented, didn't have to work as hard as some other people, and he can't get past that. Like, he can win matches without working as hard as other people.
I think there may be an X factor also. Chris did some interviews on this. I think about Takayumi, because he always talks about, I'm going to go back to Ozeki and stuff like that. But sometimes he's more open. He's just like, it's a little bit more of a struggle. I think his age is starting to catch up a little bit.
Well, that would make sense.
And so, you know, maybe some of this fade is, he's just like, oh damn, I can't
do it.
I can't just throw myself around like I used to anymore. Maybe that's
right. It's harder to recover each time.
So, you know, that could be another factor. Is he's sort of just like, I did the same thing I normally do, but now it's a little harder. What's going on?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And so, like, that could be sort of sapping him from the inside. But like, this week 2 fade sucked a little bit because he almost, and then he beats Abby in the middle of it.
I mean, to lose to Umi
gave it to him pretty hard. I think that was more of a win for Umi. But yeah, but I mean, if this is the same guy who beats Takayasu, Umi wouldn't.
Roga? How do you feel about the Roga match?
I don't remember that one.
I don't.
Though
either.
I would say he shouldn't have lost to Roga, probably.
Right, you should probably not lose to Roga if you're former Ozeki.
Yeah, not if you're former.
Roga's not dynamic enough, not yet.
No, he will be.
He will be.
Ooh, talk about people falling under the radar.
Well, he had to learn a tough lesson going back to Juryo.
Yeah,
and having to fight his way back up.
I hope he doesn't go back to Juryo again. He did 7-8, but he looked a lot better this time than he did before.
He picked up some notes.
He's learning.
Yes,
it's good. Takayumi, well done, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the next tournament.
Almost, he was he was a whisper away from running away with it, which would have been wild.
Like I said, he has 3 Yusho.
Yeah.
How many people can say that?
Some people still don't got one.
Yeah.
He's
That's
a winner.
why I say there's a natural quality to him where he can do things without having to work as hard as other people.
Super wild. The weird talent. So, Ichi Yamamoto, 11 East, 7 and 8. So when he fought Shonan no Umi, like I felt like it was like everything that was wrong with him in one match. Props to Shonan no Umi, thank God, nothing wrong.
Yeah,
everything's safe.
We were worried.
Mega relief seeing how good Shonan no Umi did. But Ichi Yamamoto hits hard, hits well against Shonan no Umi, but then Shonan no Umi holds him. The plan A doesn't work. Ichi Yamamoto does not know what to do.
Nope. He's like,
Yeah. He's working on it. There was some what I called off-brand ABB. So he did some good stuff pulling back. There was a lot of times that he would just be like desperately pulling while backpedaling and then trip over his own feet and fall. Yeah. So he's not there yet. Again, he did the weird belt thing with Takerufuji.
Right, which is why I said the pamphlets are in the back.
Who did he go on? He goes on the belt on Roga.
Which was so weird.
This was the weirdest gamble. And this is what I'm looking at him. I'm like, something's going on here. Either this was a complete lapse and he just tried to roll with it, or he's working on something.
And he thought this was the time to try it.
So he goes for the gamble, and he tries to go inside on Roga and blitz him out. Like, he doesn't do the push stuff that maybe Roga was looking for, and so he's tried to do a little rock, paper, scissors on him. But Roga was too solid and sturdy, and then he goes into the belt fight, and then Roga's like, I know what to do with this.
Right. What are you thinking, dude?
So when I see crazy stuff like this, which isn't sort of working, and I also see this 7 and 8, which is good enough to tread water.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this like, okay, maybe he doesn't quite know how to figure this out, but he's trying some random crap. He is throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Right, and if he learns something while trying it, it helps you in the next tournament.
Yeah. So like sometimes if you don't know what to do, if you are lost in the woods and you just start doing random stuff, like you'll just make a list of things that don't work.
Exactly.
And so it's like, okay, maybe I can't do this. Okay, maybe I can't do this. You know, it's still progress.
Right. It's just better than nothing.
Yeah, he's still a little bit of nothing, and I can't help but feel that him fighting Abi was about as good as it's going to get for him. But
maybe.
But I feel it's early enough on that I feel like he still has time to reverse his fate.
Right. There could be something in his future.
Yeah. Hopefully something in his future doesn't involve Jurio.
Right. Hopefully he's not a career Jurio man.
He's
That's better though than career less than Jurio man.
Yeah, and also I mean he is sticking around for a little longer than before.
Right. He is steadily making some progress.
Steadily, yeah. It's he also something I didn't mention about Koto Shohu, who's becoming a resident brawl master. Him and Ichi Yamamoto had a thing.
And I do enjoy the brawl.
So that is something I didn't write down for Koto Shoho, but I wrote down for other people who Koto Shoho brought the brawl out of them.
Right.
But in any case,
got them irritated enough to like, okay, let's do this.
Okay, we're going. We don't have Takayama anymore.
All the brawlers,
all
man.
The brawlers.
And he was kind of young to retire.
He's super injured.
I know. We've lost a lot of the rough and tumble guys to injury.
Yeah, guess that's what happened.
Yeah, well, that's why Takerufuji still being around is either a blessing or a curse for him, because it's like, you're still around. What kind of career, what kind of life you can have when Sumo's over?
But anyway, Ichi Yamamoto, keep trying. I like whatever weirdness you're doing.
It's better than what was going on with him before.
I'm going to take it as a success.
All right.
So, another person who was on the Yusho board and it all fell apart, Sada no Umi. I thought we were going to have another dark horse out of him. Because right here,
he's always trying.
He's another 6-2.
Yeah.
He goes from 6-2 to almost Makakoshi. This week 2 was brutal on him, and he didn't really fight that many other people. Like typically, like on this, I'm like, okay, where did he fight Onosato? Where did he give him Hoshogi? No,
he should have been able to beat.
So this is a
like
classic
Endo.
Classic week 2 fade.
Yep. That's the veteran thing.
Yep.
Like you just run out of steam.
Because that first week though was gangbusters for him. Oh man, this was peak Sada no Umi. because he's got the power. He keeps moving. He's got angles.
Right, but it's like that's the true him, but his age is now making it such that he can't do that for 15 days anymore.
And in his losses, he was in it, but the whatever edge he had dulled away.
Yep.
Which sucks. But 8-7.
He's doing well considering.
Stem the bleeding. Moving up.
Gonna go up so he's not in Jurio
more.
danger for the next tournament.
And exciting. This is some of the most spirited stuff we've seen out of him in a little while. So thank you for that, Sada Naomi. Yeah. So we mentioned this before. Sigh of relief for Shonan Naomi. Also a bit of a week 2 fade, but we were afraid something had just broken.
And that we were never going to see him come back.
But this 5-win streak right here, it put all of my fears to rest. He does that arm lock thing that he just clamps down on you from on top, and he can't move.
Right, because he's so big.
He's big.
You know, I forgot, though, because we hadn't been seeing, like, normal Shonan Naomi. He actually does quite a bit of pulling himself.
A little bit of pulling, but it's controlled.
Right, it doesn't look desperate.
Yeah, because he can manage the pressure coming in at him very well.
Right, and almost, like, redirect it in the pull.
So there's a lot of pivoting, the pivot slap downs, and timing people on the pull downs, because his ability to deal with the enemy's energy. Yeah, it makes his defenses so good.
But it is a little amazing to see someone that big use that style of sumo.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's
what really was going on. Was there's a little bit of an incompatibility between what he physically looks like and what he actually does, and just making the two things come together.
Yeah, it didn't like it. It sort of fell out of alignment a little bit in the second week. Like there were a couple of times that like he would just. It seemed he was out of sync on the Tachi, or maybe he just got a little tired in the end. But the 9-6 tells me, don't worry.
Right, he'll get it together.
He's still relatively new. Him and Gonayama came at the same time. Remember?
Right, and it's hard to believe that at this point.
Feels like it's been forever. But so whether or not the 9-6 is just the people who he was fighting, because he fights Takayasu, he fights Abi, Nishikifuji a little bit. So maybe it was competition. Maybe it was who knows what. But again, for me, the 9-6 is like, don't worry about them.
Right, like take the 9-6 with the good part of it, and you know, just get better the next time.
Yeah, for once, this is a just worry about the numbers.
Right. Sometimes you want to do that.
So it's just 9-6. We're good. We're talking. Meanwhile, there's a lot of blows in this turn for a tournament that felt so good.
Yeah, there was a lot of
few gut punches.
Yeah. Well, injuries are always a tough pill to swallow.
Shimazu Umi, the darling veteran first timer, struggling in the beginning, like just getting his feet under him.
Yep.
Early nerves, getting his sumo right, but he pulls his calf. Was it? Let's see. Injures his calf and goes Kyujo before he gets a chance to get so before he can right the ship and get a win, he gets injured, he tears something and he's out.
And we may never see him again.
Well, he's gonna be dumped into Jurio. So I'm hoping that he can recover it, rebuild, and come back, because like the talent we saw out of him.
We're just not doing so good with like the guys who struggle to come up to the top division. Like they're just not staying as long as we would like.
It's a spark and a fade.
It's just so brutal up there.
And stuff like this is taken away from us. But
injury.
I'm hoping we see him again. I was just starting to get to know him. Loving his sumo. But let's do his sumo.
Yep. Get used to it, right?
Oh, well.
Never get used to it.
It's going to hurt every time.
The pain.
Maybe I'll see you again, Shimazu Umi. Ryuden, 6-9. I think he's safe. We're going to start talking about people, but whether or not they're safe. I think
he's safe.
He's safe. 6-9, fights pretty well. Definitely some alarm bells going off on this one though, because when he's in his rhythm, when he's got things under control, or at least in his realm, he's still as strong as ever. And like he's persistent, he's tenacious, he's powerful. Him and Nishikifuji have an Iron Man match. Nishikifuji was not having it, but Ryuden also was not having it. So it was just a pure battle of wills that Ryuden wins, which is, you want to see that out of somebody who's on your watch list.
Right.
But what the thing is that people keep him off rhythm or can rip him out of his rhythm or can otherwise just move around. His ability to adapt to that is starting to diminish. Right.
Just a little bit of him is falling each time he gets into the ring. And a part of that is just, he had that crazy chaos for years that went on. He's doing the jockey Tachi. He gets dumped into Jurio. He's been lost for a while. And now he finally brings himself up, but it's been years. And so now he's lost a little bit of his edge, even though now he's starting to come back. And this might just be the pattern for him going forward.
A surge and a fade and a surge and a fade.
That might be all he's capable of at this point.
So what sucks for him, unrelated, he has a crush-out victory where Dayamami and Tamawashi land on top of him as he falls out of the ring back-to-back days.
That had to be like... He had to walk away with some kind of pain.
So I'm looking at stuff like this. I mean, these guys they're crazy Herculean strength. So like they'll get up off of crazy falls or crazy anything, and they'll just like walk off like it doesn't happen. But this stuff adds up, and when you're more of a veteran, you're
feeling it more.
Yeah. So then, how many of these 4 losses were just
hurt?
He was all beat up at that point.
Yeah.
And so that couldn't have felt good anyway. He's a little sore, probably still.
Yeah, I would bet. You guys have to count their bruises and blood and all that when this whole thing is over.
So we'll see on Ryuden. He's getting into the danger zone. I don't know where it's going to go with him, but
certainly we don't have to worry till May is over.
Definitely don't have to worry until May. He'll be with us at least till then. Hopefully it won't be Judgment Day. I'm loving his resurgence, but I don't know how long it'll last for him.
Right, it might be a little quick one.
So Chiranomi, 13 West 7 and 8, unfortunately loses out on that Kaichikoshi. Seems like he's struggling a little more now. Like his early resurgence, it felt like a spark. Something was going to happen, but I don't think he's gotten the last 2 were Mankakoshis for him. So I think it's sort of that he just got thrown exactly where his level is.
Right, he hasn't advanced enough for the promotion.
Yeah, so he's got a great grit, defense, never say die kind of fighting. That's fun to watch. He's still dynamic. I still love him. But
he just needs to grow.
He needs to grow. He still needs to get used to it.
But he's 30, right? Like he's an old new guy.
Him and Shimazu Umi were both new old guys.
Okay.
I think so. This is sort of the old rookie kind of a thing. So how much can he? I'm getting a little concerned that he sort of just fast tracked to the veteran line.
I know, right? 30 is like headed to veteran line.
Yeah. So he's going to be fine with the 7 and 8. He's not going to be demoted. He's too high up, and his quality of sumo I think is good enough to get him on it alone. So even if he was a little lower, I think he'd be fine. But yeah, he needs to get back to his winning ways a little bit.
Well, get out of Osaka. Maybe going back to Tokyo will do something. Never know.
A little bit, yeah. Maybe he's starting to feel the pressure. Maybe he can build from it.
Right. Now some of the Roga comes back, but they get the exact same score. Remember we talked about in the preview show, would it matter if you stayed up in the top division or if you went to Jurio and came back? Apparently it doesn't matter.
A little bit.
That's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, well, comparing Roga's score from before to now, it
improved.
It helped Roga. It didn't give him a net gain, but he's better
off. We saw minor improvements.
But Shiranaumi needs to turn this around. So, Nishikifuji, another sigh of relief. Because when he fell down in the Juro, he looked all out of whack.
And I thought, he's going to be gone for a while. And he just came right back up.
He came back up. I don't know if his injuries healed or if he's just working around them. We're seeing sparks of the Nishikifuji that like erupted before. It was like the tiny man Terunofuji.
Yes, there was a couple of matches where he looked like mini Terunofuji again.
So So he's getting some of that power back. He beats Roga out muscling him, and Roga's kind of not somebody who's easy to muscle around.
Right.
He goes up on him. Some of that chaos, some of the alternative brand Midori Fuji definitely on display. So like Nishiki Fuji, like originally it seemed like he was what Midori Fuji kind of wanted to be.
Yeah.
Which is spry and jumps around, but he can do muscle stuff if he has to.
Yep.
Some of that's still in there, but with the 8 and 7, it's not 100%.
Well, I do think he is still recovering from the
Probably.
injuries, and hopefully it's going well. Like, hopefully this wasn't like a big strain for him to fight through. It's hard to tell when you're that low down.
Yeah.
You really got to see him against tougher opponents.
Yeah. So inconclusive, but the fact that he came back so quickly, as you'd mentioned, and the fact that he got a Kachikoshi on the way back means that he's on the way up.
Yes.
Definitely doing better than before when he
Right.
sort of fell apart as he was leaving.
And he's going to go up. Like, if he had gotten a 7 and 8, he'd be sort of like in danger of possibly going back to Jurio, but he's going to go up enough, protect himself. He's going to feed off of the energy in Isegahama right now.
Oh my goodness, all of them have to be.
Yeah, they're having the best parties right now.
Have
and
to be.
They're getting all that steak.
Oh yeah, they get the endless piles of food thrown at them.
The macaroon. the beer.
Do they actually eat that? They have to.
I don't know.
How do you eat a macaroon that big? Like
You just put it in the center of the table and just start chopping it up.
Yes.
I have to think they would eat it. Like, otherwise it would go to waste.
I don't know. Like, it's like also like is it just like is it a prop? Is it an actual dessert?
They did a special on it and I missed it. And I thought that they actually make a macaroon that big, but that they give you a bunch of macaroons. But I don't know. We really need to find this out. And if anybody in the 42 Opinions world knows the answer, please tell us.
I would guess that they would give you like stacks of them too. But
Right,
I don't,
it's like
the big
this is the trophy is the big macaroon, but you're gonna get like a year's worth of macaroons.
Is the trophy edible?
Just need to
Inquiring
know.
minds have to know.
Do they like after they throw the gyoji up in the air and break down the ring? Does everybody just like sit there?
Take a
and
bite of the macaroon.
Everybody take your bite.
I mean, you throw it at a sumo stable, that thing goes.
Right, it's like drinking out of the Stanley
Yeah.
Cup. Like you just take pictures on mountains with the macaroon and stuff.
Yeah. Well, eat some macaroon, Nishiki and get better.
Exactly.
Good enough for now. So this sucked. Kitano Waka 3 and 12. So
Not ready.
very interesting to see Kitano Waka and Roga compared next to each other because they both did the same thing last time, and they did something completely different this time. The thing is that I feel like Koto Shoho is in that limbo because the way he's fighting definitely feels like somebody who would be able to do good up here, but is clearly not there yet.
Right, just needs more time, needs more
Yeah.
Jurio matches, I guess.
Yeah. A lot of his fights was he did well, but, or he was strong, but, or he did good belts. There's a lot of buts.
Right.
A lot of, and then the other guy won anyway.
Right.
A lot of all that for nothing.
Well, that's just the difference between Jurio and Top Division.
Yes. And
That's
so,
really what we're looking at.
So he could be ping-ponging back and forth for a little while until it clicks. He could be the latest Mitoryu that he sort of just will trounce Jurio and then just can't make it work up top.
Yeah. Mitoryu is an enigma to me.
Yeah. Keep an eye on Mitoryu though. He won the Jurio show.
I know.
I was just like, who?
Well, especially when Wakataka Kage was in there, I'm like, I'm a little disappointed.
They gave it to him though. They kind of gave him Aoyama on the last day.
I know, but
I
at the
was
same time, Wakataka Kage should have been able to just take it away.
I think Wakataka Kage
Might still be very hurt.
I think he had 8 days of sumo in him.
Okay. No, that's fair.
I didn't see any of the matches.
Well, I mean, the man is trying to come back from an ACL tear way too soon.
Look at this. So we're gonna skip ahead a little bit, but
yeah, you guys like
you
Jurio
see
anyway.
this? You see this?
Yeah.
This is how long his
tells
ACL
you.
lasted.
Yep.
Right here.
That's
7-0.
all it was. Yep.
The 7-0, and then day 8 is when the ACL was just like, not yet. Put me back.
He's like, let
I'm
me hurry up
tired.
and beat Aqua so that I don't
I'm tired.
fall.
I'm tired. So
Okay, fair enough. I'll take it.
I'm not worried about it.
You got to talk me down sometimes. I get a little crazed.
Yeah, and Hakuoho are just, it's a wash. It's a wash.
We've already talked about it.
It's like Kirishima. Just
don't think about it.
In May, it'll be a different story.
May better be the best basho of everybody's life.
It's getting prepped up.
It sure is.
Think how much fun we had now.
Oh, we're gonna have a blast in May.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna.
I'm planning on it. I want it.
We won't have it with Kitano Waka, unfortunately, but because Kitano Waka keep working on it. I see the potential. It's the unmolded clay, right? Just mold it.
Yes,
it's there. It's almost there. Anyway, Myogiryu. Uh-oh. I don't like a 6 and 9 where he is.
Yeah, he's going to get dropped.
So
he probably hasn't been in Juryo in like 10 years.
It is in the hands of fate at this point. We'll talk about the ups and downs a little bit, but if that was a 7 and 8, I feel like he would have gotten the veteran bye. But the 6 and 9.
Yeah, especially with those 7 and 8s around him. It's like hard to say, oh no, you can. I don't know.
He's still doing his same sumo. This is
he hasn't changed at all, but everybody else is getting better.
It's the slight dulling effect.
He's the dull knife.
And so like up until now, I always felt like he was relatively stable, but then everybody else was fluctuating around him, and he was a nice barometer. Like this was the first tournament that I looked at him and I'm like, he's dipping now.
Yeah,
it's finally happening. And
he doesn't got much more in him, that's for sure.
So he may do what Takerufuji's doing, which is he just touches Jury and then goes back.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to find out. They might spare, capital M might spare him. We're gonna have to do some deep analytics on that.
Yeah,
but,
I think once we look at Juro, we can say how likely that is.
It is. They're like sometimes he'd have the advantage. Sometimes he'd win it, look awesome, and then a few times like he would get the advantage, but then he just couldn't use it.
It's amazing, actually, how long he's. I don't know age-wise or time-wise, but it feels like Miyogiru's been here forever.
Forever, yeah.
And a lot of guys have long gone, and he's still here.
Yeah, some people are retired, and he's like, I'm still fighting.
Exactly, like guys that he came up with. So he's doing what he can do.
He's doing his best. Yeah, he is 100% effort.
Yeah.
It's just
Saitama Sakai pride.
Yeah, they'll have to drag him out kicking and screaming.
Yeah. And that's exactly what they'll do.
Yeah. So Roga, this is 7 and 8. Another one. He's so loaded. This final match against Koto Shoho. If he won this,
he would have
been fine. 8 and 7. You can't touch him. But now he's 7 and 8. He's down there. I don't know. He might be safe. But the thing is, like that 7 and 8, that was. There is still some like a rigidness, like a passiveness. He's still quite not 100% there yet.
Right. He doesn't look top division material quite yet.
It is. So there are some rough edges to work out. Like this is the thing is that now that we've seen the improvement. Beforehand he was 5 and 10. He was just like it was obvious. It was obvious. It's like uncut. You need to sharpen those edges. But now it's sort of just like, is it the sumo? Is it the stress? Is it putting together for 15 days? Is it digging deep? Like there's
a combo in there
somewhere. Like I feel like it's one of those things. It's like, okay, now we're in a solvable state. It's just like it's like okay, we've seen the road now, but what do you need to do to get on it?
Right. Like, okay, so we've identified the problem.
Yes.
And what are you going to do about that?
Yeah. So he's another guy who just handles Mitakeumi. And by the way, this was a really important match because this was the 6 and 2 Mitakeumi.
Yep.
So Roga beat him so hard he turned into 9 and 6. So Roga gets that no matter what happens.
No matter what, you can't take that
and again,
away.
like you see that, you're like, okay, this is a guy who can make it up here.
Right. He's got something, but he just got to put it all together for 15 days.
Unfortunately, what he got was a 7 and 8. Why, Roga? You were so close.
Yeah, I think he's going back down.
this might be.
Just because they have guys that they want to bring up, and it's like, okay, he'll go to like 1 or 2.
Yeah, so he maybe third time's the charm for him. Hoping third time's the charm for him. I feel like he's almost there.
At least he still gets paid.
Right? Yeah. Oh, he's still fine. All right, this one is gonna hurt me a lot.
This is like basically telling us everything we've been talking about with Takerufuji and everybody. Like, this is a killer.
I nearly cried. I may cry right now. This was rough.
It's
Endo,
rough.
5 and 10. So, like, we were worried. We're like, okay, if he's this low down, he has to do good, right? We told, right? There's no way he'll get and then he does.
It's like, okay, he's dead in the water.
So this is, like, the thing is that he was losing in fights that he could have been winning. Like, 6 months ago, he would have won these fights. It is the death knell. So there's 2 things for me. So he's fighting Kitanowaka. Kitanowaka drives. Again, this is one of those, he does really well, but Endo does a great hold at the edge. The crowd goes crazy. The Osaka crowd is just a dream. And then Endo reverses it all the way across. The crowd goes absolutely crazy. In the back of my mind, I'm like, Endo has, at some point, is like, this is like one of those feelings.
He's going to take that and he's going to do something
with it. Because it also, like, it's like one of those things, like when you are in that sports situation that, like, you do something and the crowd goes nuts, like that feeling of elation you get. Like, I got a proxy elation. I don't even know. Like, Endo, he did it.
You're like watching through a screen and you're like, yeah.
I felt the energy. Also, like, my boy Endo, he's doing it. He's doing it, guys. And then what broke my heart. So when he's fighting Ryuden, and he's giving it to Ryuden, this is a pretty good fight.
Yeah.
And
they fought each other many times.
Yes. And the thing is that, like, the way Endo is advancing, I'm like, he's got Ryuden. Ryuden can't deal with this, but he can't get it done. And then Ryuden reverses it, and he gets Endo out. And Endo put everything into this. He is completely exhausted. So he goes out. He steps out. And then at the ring edge, he is so tired he can't stop himself from going out. So he steps down off of the dohyo. And he is so tired he can't even stop it from there, and he falls over. He literally just fades away.
Right.
That was the moment I knew.
You're like, okay, he is in a physical state.
He is just
where he can't keep doing this.
They get that exhausted.
What do you think is wrong with him? Like, it's
time.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I think it's like, this is another thing. Like, you're doing this for over a decade.
Yeah.
Like, you talk about, like, there are all these interviews out there with, like, pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
And they talk about how broken they are, and, like, the pro wrestling scene, they are fighting all the time. Yeah. Every day.
300 days a year or something.
All they do is fight, and the toll on their bodies.
Yeah.
So.
Right. It's just finally too much for him.
Finally too much. He's finally hit his limit, and he's like, and what really just twists the knife is, like, he's still trying.
Right, and he's still skilled. Like,
he's still getting the wins.
He's not like a pusher thruster or a puller where it's like there's only one move. Like, he can still throw, he can still grapple, he can still twist and turn.
Like, we had joked about, like, the 9-5 Endo, where there were some days he was sort of picking his battles, but, like, nowadays he's like, anything I can get, anything. Yeah. He knows the end is coming.
Right, he sees it out there, and he's like, no, not yet.
They took him from me. He's gone.
It's too much. When you start to see Endo leave, it's like, wow, we've been watching this for too long.
I'm not ready.
No.
I want him to turn this around.
We better, like I said, we better really get invested in some of these new guys.
Our new guys are coming. Look, we're going to talk about one of the biggest new guys, and we've got, like, there's 8 hot prospects, and there was a time where our best prospect was Mitaki Shodai Takakeisho. Though there was a time, those were the pillars holding this up, because Hakuho was just whatever.
Yeah, he would show up once.
He would show up every other basho. He'd show up and he'd wreck. Just basically whenever his completely broken body would let him.
Right.
So, like, our best was a guy who can only fight as well as he can injured, a guy who fights when he wants to, and a guy who fights until he starts losing.
Right.
That was Sumo.
Yeah, this is a very good
So now
point.
we've got all these good people here.
Still.
I'm going to have a cry on Endo. I'm owed.
Yeah.
I'm owed. Maria, I don't like it.
I don't like it either. It's no words can express the pain.
Well. See ya, Endo.
Peace.
I'd like to say he'll come back from Jirio.
It would take a miracle.
Please prove us wrong.
We always like to be wrong.
We love being wrong.
Please.
Come back with a Jirio Yusho. Shut us up.
Yeah. That would be cool.
I would cry from that too.
Yeah, I know.
Tears
right?
of joy.
We've got to get the endo cake.
Someone cutting onions in here. Oh, God. Okay. Diamami. Talk about people who also lost it all on the last day.
Oh, man.
Look at this. This 6-win streak
Was nuts.
So this 0-4, I'm just like, who cares?
Diamami.
And then he made me care. He made me care in the middle of the week.
And he got to fight Shirokuma.
He did. Oh, I love that.
Our Danganronpa special.
Oh, no.
It's like, we need him to come up because his name is just too good.
He looks like a bear too.
I know.
Like it's like an anime bear. It's his
and I
face
think it was his mom or somebody was wearing the bear hat in the crowd.
Yes. I can't wait.
So cool.
Pretty good sumo too. I mean, Diamami thrashed him, but he's getting in there.
Yeah, take your lumps.
Like this 6-0 Diamami was just, he found the magic gear because this was all him.
Yeah.
Power, using his size, and when you're a big guy and you don't just lean on people, like you use it tactfully. This is why Onosato is so good too. It's just like I'm a big guy and I'm gonna make you feel every single pound of it. Diamami was doing that kind of stuff. It was great.
Well, it's funny because, like I said, I think some of these guys get a little bit of inspiration from others.
So he gets it together. I think for him, the basho ended on day 10.
Yeah.
And then the last 5 days is like, I can't.
Well, something about running into Koto Shoho did something.
Yeah. So I think they did this boy a little dirty by giving him Takayasu on the last day.
Yeah, why did they do that?
Takayasu.
What was the point? Like, I really don't know why they did that. Think about that for a second.
Takayasu was 10-4.
Right. Why is it 10-4 fighting a guy who needs to win on the last day for Kachikoshi? I need someone to explain to me what the point of that was.
I was optimistic for this though. I wanted him to win. I wrote up on when it comes to the last day, like I'll write up variants of the notes. And then I'll just delete whatever one was wrong. So I'm just like, shows you the grit because he even beats Takayasu on the last day. And then I was writing up the notes. I'm just like, delete. I didn't want to delete this one.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe they're just like, we don't want you here. Go back to Jurio.
This one sucks because he similar to Roga. It's just like there was a lot going on there, but you're just too far down the Banzuke.
Maybe they didn't want anybody wishy-washy or something. They're like,
well,
you want to keep your spot? Here you go.
I will say for somebody we had almost summarily discarded during the preview show. We're like, oh, he'll be fun to watch, I guess.
He tried to make it interesting.
Yeah, he won me over. So bless you, Diamami. You've got a fan. All right, so
all that time just to talk about the main event.
So there's one more person. I mean, he's 17 East. He can't be that important.
Yeah,
right?
who cares about 17
whatever.
East?
Let's just skip over to Jurio. I mean,
this guy ain't
we
gonna
spent
last.
all this time on the last guy. People just skip ahead on this part of it. Anyway,
his name is like Takerufuji or something.
Takerufuji. It's really confusing. It sounds a lot like some other wrestler.
What a poser.
Yeah, right. So anyway,
we're joking, everybody, in case anybody doesn't know.
So he was 13-2. I guess that's okay for a debut.
It's decent.
Yeah. So when we were discussing in the preview show, like, oh, this Takerufuji guy who everybody's talking about, he's the next big thing. But I was a little jaded about it because like
I was too.
A lot like Kitano Waka was the next big thing, Rogo was the next big thing, Kimbozan was the next. Everybody had next big thing, like hype.
Right, and we don't get to watch a lot of the earlier stuff. We just don't have time. So a lot of these guys, unless we've had some reason to have prior experience, we don't know them. I knew nothing about this guy.
So I'm thinking, oh, maybe it'll be like optimistic. Oh, maybe it'll be like Onosato or Konoyama. You know, they're like, oh, they'll start strong, and then they'll sort of, you know, they'll get their feeling their teeth. They're like, I'm mentally pathing it out. I'm like, I'll be invested in him in 6 to 9 months. I said to myself, you know, and then
what an insane.
Yeah, it started here with Abi. When he hits Abi so hard, Abi goes through plans A, B, C, and D so fast, Abi doesn't even know what plan he's on, and then he just like falls over because somebody hard crashed his brain.
These guys are probably like passing each other in the hallway like, what just happened? Like, who is this dude?
I know.
Like craziness. Now think about this though. Like when he starts, this is kind of why I didn't even pay much attention. He's got Daiamami, Endo, Roga, Myogiru, Toki Hayate.
So the first week, you know, you can be lucky, you can be good, and even if you are really good, you get the first week bye. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
And then I'm like, but the thing is, like, you're gonna have to fight the good people eventually.
Right. So you're just kind of waiting. You're like, I don't want to give a judgment yet.
Yeah. That's why, like, he beats Abi. I'm like, oh, and then he smokes Ono Sato. I'm like, what?
And when he beat Kota Nawaka, I was like,
what?
Okay, this is when was he 10-0? Where's 10-0?
Ono Sato.
Okay, Ono Sato. I was like, okay, if he beats Kota Nawaka tomorrow, it's his. Like he's already won the Yusho. I thought he would Zensho Yusho. I really did because he was so good. I'm like, nobody's gonna stop him. Literally, only Hoshoryu could have pulled that off on him.
The thing is that,
like, say Hoshoryu wasn't in this tournament, Zensho Yusho.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Asanoyama, but I think Hoshoryu took just a little wind out of the sails with that. He had to be just a little bit more cautious, or just a little bit more nervous. Maybe not even cautious.
I'm 100% giving that to Hoshoryu, and I 100% give that to Asanoyama, because like when you wreck Abi, and then you wreck Onosato, everybody else better be studying tape. You guys.
Right, all of a sudden, like, I got to pay attention.
You guys, you go in there, you expect to be careened.
Well,
it is an actual train.
Well, and these guys, they're all sitting around the ring watching this match. Like, this is the guy I'm gonna have tomorrow. When they saw Wakamoto Haru get disassembled, okay, Asanoyama was probably like, I think it actually fired him up. I think he was like, yeah, let's do this. I've been waiting for somebody, some hot prospect. Let's see.
Yeah, for me, this tells you that both Hoshoryu and Asanoyama are the kind of guys that look at this and they're like, I want it.
And that's why you want to like those guys.
Yes.
Like, I hope more people are into Asanoyama because he won that match. But let's talk about, like, the TV moments of this Takerufuji thing. So he hurts himself so bad. I was a little shocked. Like, hurt himself so bad on an ankle that he had to go to the hospital and, like, was thinking about pulling out. Like, that's wild. Like, I was like, is this for real? Are they just being cautious? Like, what's going on here? But he had so much buildup over everybody else that he didn't even necessarily have to show up, and that ended up being the case. He didn't have to show up to win the Yusho. But then he's, you know, you get the background. This is the nice thing about not doing the show on Sunday. You get to hear the interviews and stuff. So you have the background where, like, Isegahama's like, well, what can you do about it? You can't even walk, and whatever, it's over. And then it's like Terunofuji walks in the room, let me handle this. And he just gives him this inspiring talk about, you're never going to get this chance again. So even if you show up and lose, you should still show up. And how do you look at a man who's worked so hard to come back from the brink to become Yokozuna and say, I can't get out there?
He got out there.
He got out there and he won the match. Like, really, that's like TV moment stuff. And here's something very, very funny. Are you ready? So, his nickname, The Undertaker, he won the Yusho on The Undertaker's birthday.
Ah! No way!
Yes, apparently. This is thanks to Goose sent this to me. The Undertaker's birthday is March 24th.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's wild.
This is just everything about this was perfect. It was unexpected. The last time this happened was 1914. So you got a 100-year record here. I do worry about like if the injury was so bad he couldn't walk, hopefully it just heals perfectly, because we don't want injuries marring such a beautiful aspiring career.
The fact that he was able to stand through the entire award ceremony.
That's true.
It was. Now, how much of that was like leaning on one leg and probably in a lot of pain and hopped up on painkillers?
Well, here's what happened. He went and he visited Tsurugisho. And Tsurugisho says, I got this stuff. Everybody knows now who to go to if you got a problem. But yeah, I mean, it did look promising that he was able to come. He was able to win his fight. He was able to stand that whole time. I'm sure the next day it was blown up.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's walking today.
No. Wouldn't expect that. But it really was sort of a Cinderella story in a tournament that had a lot of rough spots.
Yeah.
Those injuries were rough. The impending disappearance of Takerufuji, the scandals beforehand, the fact that it's just the Stormy Basho in general. This was a nice highlight, and I hope we have a good, promising future with him. Like, injuries are the only thing I'm worried about. Because obviously he is one powerful man. You're going to have to find tricky ways to get past him. You're not going to want him blasting into your chest like that again. Or blasting into your head. You know, even if you know that's coming, you can't take that hit and always win the match.
This is the guy now. This is
the guy.
The guy.
He's leapfrogged over everybody else at this point.
So.
And he's already started a rivalry with Hoshoryu, so I mean that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, you beat Hoshoryu, you're on his list forever.
He's gonna have Asanoyama, so he's already come at the big dogs and like let's do this.
Yeah, they're gonna put him like all the way up. They're not even gonna bother.
Yeah, he's gonna get a massive promotion.
So I think he's gonna be.
Where do you think he's gonna go? Let's just take a guess.
Top 5.
Really?
5, 6.
Well, go up to 5 and 6 and let's see what the records are. Yeah, because Onosato will
just
go
take
up.
Tsurugisho's place.
Yeah, they could put him right there. That would make the most sense. My goodness, we're gonna immediately see what he's capable of.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way this guy has any doubters after what he did. But only, like you had mentioned, the only thing you could say about him is that he had this opening salvo of air quote freebies.
Right. We got to see him fight.
The thing is that I don't believe that because every single person who's been in this situation beforehand
couldn't do that.
Could not do this second week.
Right. He had an easier schedule, but like he's never fought 15 days in the top division before.
No.
And then to fight all the toughest, hardest competitors with a lot to prove.
This is all his, and really, it's.
Oh yeah.
It's a concern for everyone else that he's going to be that high, rather than for him.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to be looking over their shoulder.
Yeah.
I wish, though, that he had come up at a time where we could have seen him again. Well, he never would fight Takerufuji, but it would have been nice to see him in a time where, like, Takerufuji was at prime form, like some of these, like, power guys to see power comparison.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have Gonoyama. We're going to have Onosato.
We're going to need Gonoyama to gain a little bit more power.
A little more weight.
Onosato's a different style, but, like, maybe Onosho. Maybe
he didn't fight Onosho, so we didn't see that yet.
We didn't see him go power for power with anybody.
No.
Nobody who's like the Tachi is their thing, like the power Tachi.
He didn't fight Meisei.
He didn't fight Meisei. He didn't fight Takekeisho, even though I don't think Keisho can handle him.
Not anymore.
He didn't fight Onosho. Who else are we thinking? There's not a lot of those guys right now, like veteran wise.
Oh, he didn't fight Ura.
Ura would be an interesting match.
He's not going to fight a Takerufuji. He didn't fight. Did he fight Takayasu? No. So
there's a lot of guys that we could see some interesting matches with. He didn't go against Kirishima. If Kirishima is in a better state,
May Kirishima is going to be a much better fight for him.
Right. That might be interesting to see how Kirishima would handle that. And I think Kotonowaka comes back for revenge because I think that Kotonowaka could handle him if he wasn't caught off guard like that. And Hoshoryu will be just a blast to see that match again.
Hopefully Hoshoryu doesn't look past him.
Well, you know him. He's like, He is the prince. He is the closest thing to the Vegeta of the world, you know? He's already the best guy ever and better than all of you, so.
Get a rope on Hoshiryu, see how crazy his ego gets then.
Oh, man.
I can't wait.
I just hope it just keeps exploding because he's just so entertaining.
So, Takerufuji gets the Yusho, gets Outstanding Performance, gets Fighting Spirit, and gets Technique Prize. They gave him every single award that they could.
He just made a lot of money.
Yeah, he did. Ono Sato also gets the Fighting Spirit and Technique Prize. So the two rookies who are kicking so much butt, the
So
Sumo
nice.
Association went to them and said, more of that, please.
We will give you everything. Keep showing up and being
Yeah.
exactly like this.
Yes. Well-deserved on both counts, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Like,
So-
there's no point in there where you're like, they were just too generous. It's like, no, they earned everything.
Yeah, and this is also them going to everyone else and saying, these guys, look to them.
Right. You better step your game up.
Step your game up. I'm liking it. So we'll dip into jury. We did a little bit. So we've got Toki Hayate.
Yep.
He's up. Takerufuji.
Nice to
He's
see him back.
Figured it out. Mitorio with the Yusho.
Definitely back.
Coming back up. Tomokaze.
That was quicker than I expected.
Way quicker than we expected. And Oshoma.
So that tells you that, you know, at least 4 spots.
Yeah. Don't know if they'll give it to Tomokaze.
Oh my goodness, Shirokuma really does look like a bear.
Yeah, he does. Look at this.
Like, look at that picture.
Look at it. He's a bear. He's an actual literal bear.
Wow. That's probably why I picked the name.
Yeah, a little bit. He's a polar bear. There, look at him.
That's crazy. He is definitely like belongs in a Danganronpa game.
He's right out of that. The weird off-brang. It's Danganronpa another episode one too. Is
Yeah.
That's a whole nother discussion.
We could go on for like
Yep.
2 hours on that.
So we've got 4, maybe 5 people
So let's-
coming up. So Endo's gone. Shimazu Umi is gone.
Yep.
We've got Diamami's is too low.
Yep.
This is where, if it's 5, they both go. If it's 4,
Myogiru?
me or Ryoga.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll do.
This is where maybe with a capital M,
Right. They may spare him.
they might spare him. They might give him the veteran pass. I think they did that to Aoyama when I thought he was dead to rights.
Yeah, they did. And I feel like they've done it for others, like Chio. Did they do it for Chio Tairi, or was it
There was
Chiyomaru?
a little bit. They historically, if somebody's up there for a while, they'll give you a way out. So that means that everybody. Oh, Kanawaka.
Oh, yeah.
So hang on.
So
So
actually-
1. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so
So they don't actually have to demote
it would
either of those guys.
if they want Tomokaze back, basically.
Right. Would it be worth it? Then that means they might do. I don't know what they would do.
Yeah,
Because they don't have 2 guys to bring up. So like they'd have to pick
they
between
would pick one of the
Myogiru.
2. Yeah, they might. It might be 4, and then they spare both of these guys.
Yeah.
Or it might be 5, and then you have to figure out which one of these 2 guys are gonna go. No idea.
Yeah.
No
Have
idea.
fun with that. Guess the bones
How about
guy.
All right. And then, not going to talk about him anymore. Our 2 big boys. Wakataka Kage was 9 and 6, as we had mentioned. His ACL apparently lasted him 7 days.
Yep.
And Hakuoho does get Kachikoshi.
Well, I'm glad he
He
pulled
treads
it
water.
off.
Again, this didn't exist. Didn't
Just
happen.
trying to forget it. I wanted it to be more,
Yep.
but
And he'll be back in May, and he'll be stronger than ever. That's what I'm saying.
I just have to keep waiting.
Koto Echo, complete mess.
I know. We're never going
Goodbye.
to see him again.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And Terutsuyushi retired.
Yes, the official. I think he was just physically unable to fight.
Yeah, I hear diabetes was the big thing. And it's like, yeah, if you have diabetes and you're a sumo wrestler, that is really challenging to keep that going.
Doubly difficult to manage the diet. And the
But
sugar.
apparently he likes reptiles, so
yeah. Well, he's moving on.
yeah.
So March was absolute madness. So many different things going on: good, bad, ugly.
Pretty much
wild,
a little flavor of everything.
Little everything. Very quintessential sumo kind of a tournament.
A real Stormy Basho, a real like you don't know what you're going to get. May usually is a little bit more predictable, which will be nice. But while we're speaking of that, did you want to talk about the guest, the Bonzuke?
Yes. So, for fun, just to see how it is, we're going to do a off Basho live stream sometime in April, and it'll be a Tuesday. We haven't figured out the when.
It sounds like it's going to be a Tuesday night, probably around the
normal.
The 9 o'clock hour.
When you normally do your live streams.
So that hopefully you guys would come and make comments and make fun of John and say, no, you shouldn't do what you're doing.
So the premise of this is, first off, it's going to be more chill. We won't be talking about a tournament going on, so we could talk about like sumo as a whole.
Anything you want to talk about.
Every once in a while, I want to talk about things that aren't sumo. It's a good time. It'll be us just hanging out. So both Maria and myself are terrible at Gesta Banzuke.
It's ridiculous.
So what we'll do is I will show my method for attempting to pick people, and the two of us will try to put our heads together and figure this out, and you all get to watch us. I'm guessing as a cautionary tale as to how to not do Gesta Banzuke.
Yes, and you can laugh and make fun of us, and we'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah, so it's meant to be more of a hangout. I know Maria and I have been talking about ways of doing stuff between tournaments.
This is probably the best thing you could do.
It'll get me to keep playing Gesta Banzuke, which...
It's hard to do. It's hard to motivate. Because I'm giving up. I'm not doing it
My
anymore.
best score is 4-11.
That's still, I got 2.
Yeah, I had a 1-14. I think my opening tournament. I felt pretty confident going in. I'm like, I think I got this, guys. It's not that difficult. I'll just put people here and there, and I was just like, Duh.
Yeah, Toby Zaro wrecks every single Banzuke. I'll tell you that.
So I would say, keep to the community tab?
Yeah, that's the only way I really can communicate with you guys is I'll put an announcement in the community tab. You know it's a Tuesday in April, so pay attention. It'll be towards the middle, probably. It wouldn't be the early ones. When does the Banzuke come out?
Hang on.
I had that all written in my calendar, but...
Kintamayama, God bless the man, the myth, the legend. He put an email out. He did.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I love everything he writes is amazing. But
I know.
Anyway.
He is absolutely the best.
Yeah. So the deadline is April 23rd.
Okay, so we have to do it the week before.
The 16th?
I think it is the 16th. So I think we've picked our day.
Maybe. Tentative.
Look at the community tab. Hope you guys will come because you always want to come and chat. And this is like an opportunity where...
This is peak chat.
Just chill, have fun. We don't have a schedule or an agenda. And we'll just leave when we're done.
Yeah, basically.
So please come and hang out.
Yep. Oh, man.
Thank you all for listening. And I hope you enjoy your sumo off time.
Yeah, thanks for showing up a little later than normal. Our... real life got in the way for a minute there, but we're fine now.
Yeah, everything's good. It was a little dicey, but
we're
good, and we're just glad to have you guys listening to us.
Until next time.
Peace.